just want to touch as well before we jump into match number one is that our second match tonight is going to be Ferox versus Exto Gaming, and that's important for the opposite reason. It's going to decide essentially who's first seed. Some shenanigans can play around with that result, but tonight's match later on after this first one is going to be the first way to decide that. But that's all for later on. So shove it to the side. Still important, so keep an eye on it. But right now it's Bance versus ShadowNet, and I'm actually really excited for this one, Cthulhu, because ShadowNet, they have not been winning games against some of these top teams, but man, they've been giving them some real gut punches, right? They've been making these teams work to get the 2-0s against them. So, there's certainly a lot of credit to what ShadowNet are pulling out lately. But here's the real test where we get to see if they can actually lock in not just a win, but a 2-0.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those matches that this is where they bust out all of their hidden strats if they were hiding any. This is where they need to show all of their progress that they have made throughout the whole season, because as we're getting closer to the end of the season, we've also been seeing ShadowNet improving from match to match kind of basis. So first, it kind of started off with some mere 7-1, 7-2s against them, and now we're seeing them pull off 7-4s, 7-5s, but just outside of the reach of at least claiming the match point for themselves. So maybe this is where they will be able to make it. This is maybe where they will be able to finally find that win and get themselves out of the relegation bracket, as you mentioned before. So this is going to be the grand moment for ShadowNet to really come out and play.
Yeah, but I mean, let's flip it over to Bance as we head on over to Oregon here for map number one. But yeah, for Bance, it's the same kind of deal, right? They just want to jump in here, snag a win, just a win. They just need a one-map win here to, basically get what they want, which is stay away from relegation. So everything's the same, except for Bance, the possibility stays alive no matter what happens throughout the series, where ShadowNet, they need to kick things off by winning game number one. So we'll kick things off here. Let's just go ahead and ban Thatcher. Now, that could be an interesting ban later on if we move to map 2, but what does it mean here on Oregon, Cthulhu?
I mean, on Oregon, it is just going to mean that the teams will have to be forced to play Kali for kind of the similar role that Thatcher so far has been bringing in. Just because her lances are pretty much they work in a similar way. They allow you to get rid of all those anti-breach utility. Yeah, Minxie's not particularly happy about the Clash ban, because last time that they did play on Oregon, they actually used Clash pretty well, which did allow them to get a few points against Exto Gaming. So that was pretty...
We laugh at the sad face, but I mean, I think that's a legitimate feeling for Minxie right now. That is actually a pretty rough ban against her. So for ShadowNet, they could be in trouble here on the defensive side. But of course, with Mira being the other operator that you've just got to kind of throw in there as one of the must bans, it could allow some maybe interesting things to slip through here. Do we have confirmation of Echoes open this week? Do you know?
I believe Echo has been actually finally unlocked for this one. So yeah, so we have both of the info gathering ops, which Space Prism already just showcased us, but yeah, thanks for a bait.
Man, we haven't seen Echo for like 7 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Prism
Yeah.
Can't even give it that to us. Come on, mate.
Yes, I can say for a fact with like utmost knowledge that I genuinely feel that for a few teams they have been practicing and planning to use Echo, but every time Echo was announced that he's still banned, it was hurting them quite a whole lot. Like I saw through so many games, through so many officials, Six Masters and Pro League included, that whenever there's an Echo, he can turn things around in a very powerful way, and he can enable some of the lurking roamers to get some phenomenal plays. Like even dating back to back in the days of when Horvaday was a thing in Pro League.
That's taking me back.
Yeah, that's like we're taking quite a big trip down the memory lane. Back then, you would see a roaming bandit or a roaming Jaeger, and then an Echo drone following him around just to stun the enemies to allow some of the lineups happen. So, yeah, seeing him completely banned out for so many weeks, it's for some teams, it's game-changing.
Well, now they get their opportunity to play him again, so even if it doesn't happen in round 1, we might see it later on. For now, though, Vance now ready to go in and assault the basement here on Oregon. Shadownet absolutely ready to meet them here in the tunnel, so they're going to have their work cut out for them here. Already one Vulcan shield has gone down, though, so that's quite nice for Vance. Already starting to make a little bit of progress, and we're not even a minute in.
I'm curious what even got detonated, because not only now the explosive utilities starting getting used, so I'm assuming that's one of the defenders that actually blew it up trying to slow down the push, but that didn't really help a whole lot because Nate is already in there and will be ready to blast things off. But I like the general setup that Shadownet has. Nova so close to netting the kill, but that grenade launcher from Lion Cordial is going to shut it down.
And Nate as well, somehow still alive through all of this. So now Vance get to walk into the final fight here. Plenty of time to work on everything. Already drawing Shadownet even further back as Lags takes a shot. Everything's in Vance's favor right now. It's just coming in to clean up here in the last few seconds. They've got a few more drones to go out here, just get the last bit of information. But remember, they can take their time. They can sit back, they can place the claymores, they can get completely ready for this one. They've got most of the markers they need. Here comes the peak, so Nate has to be careful with this. Doesn't have a lot of health, and there are a few people here who could potentially be looking at him, so he has to be careful. Live Cordial as well. Unfortunately, will not be getting back up from that one, so already, maybe Shadownet fighting back, but just straight away, Pluto trades it back. This is tight, Cthulhu.
This is indeed very tight. Lags manages to finally even out the man count. And even health-wise, this is as close as it gets. Interestingly enough, Space Prism up until recently only now finally started kind of rotating around and keeping an eye out on the main hallway because he was expecting some push from the freezer. But this time, Vance turned out to have a very one-sided push, very one-dimensional one. And a pre-fire from Nate, though, will not be that one-dimensional, as that is a very nice, very clean pre-fire now, leaving all up to Minxie and Space Prism.
Man, Nate being an absolute hero throughout this, but the job's not done just yet. Minxie and Space Prism just hanging around. Utility all but drained. Space, though, does have a C4 in his pocket. Could go for the plant denial. However, Minxie's going to be shut down all up to Space Prism now, and he doesn't even get a chance to chuck that C4 anywhere. Vance take round number 1.
And that was a really, really clean final execution by Vance. They were able to emphasize each one of their pushes to really get the control of certain rooms, certain positions within a room, and yeah, being able to bait out. It did partially come down to the fact that Minxie wasn't able to connect the shot onto the IQ, and that is what pretty much sealed the deal since Space Prism was offside. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, both of the teams had a pretty good idea, but the one thing that keeps on bugging me a little bit, Smite, is the way how certain teams, they prompt to have one side of the wall in the supply room opened up, so you would have a rotation into the construction tunnel entrance. But then, if your anchor there fails, you pretty much lose any ability to rotate within that supply room, which in its entirety already cuts off any reinforcements or any attempts, and all you can do really is to have a crossfire, but even that is not really safe. Whereas, like, why wouldn't, say, the defenders reinforce both of it, try to play bandit trick like we saw it a few times, and then force the attackers to pretty much start draining utility that way? But I guess we'll need to ask that to the players once we'll get to actually talk to them, because yeah, that question has been on my mind for a while, but I keep on forgetting to essentially use it in the interviews.
Yeah, I mean, we can find out. I see it as quite, it's one of those points that you just really have to hold at the start. And we saw what happens when the attacking team just gets control of it really quickly, like Vance did. You know, their push just really good from the start, buying so much time, but that's all in the past here for now. Cthulhu might get the chance to see it again, but Nate, oh man, he was ready for it. He was totally ready for that one. No shenanigans going to be pulled on him today.
Yeah, Levi was full-on shut down. No, I don't think even the Electroclaw has been deployed as well, so that feels bad for the man, because now it's, oh, this is just a crossfire. This is a nice bait and trap there set up by Nate, but Thankfully, for ShadowNet, Space Prism is the one to shut him down.
But this is already a big, quick advantage again for Vance. You've already got Kaid off the table, so those Electro Claws, like you said, didn't really get all of them off. So this is really just Vance kind of allowed to do whatever. Kind of sucks to lose Nate. That's a powerful gun off the table and utility. We'll just check to see if they do make it through the window here, because Lags is waiting. But yeah, I mean, they've taken some pretty powerful defenders away from ShadowNet too. No smoke? That's just so annoying to not have.
Yeah, no smoke and no C4 on Levi as well. Gotta hurt quite a whole lot. Given that, yeah, that's just even just the manpower wise, this could have been huge. But what is also huge is Pluto finding the shot on 2, Lags long before Minxie does find the trade back there. So at the very least, ShadowNet still have a chance to do it, but those chances are dwindling, given that Space Prism just fell down. So is Minxie, and well, that's another round for Bance.
Man, Bance, Nate, that intro just totally set his team up for victory. I mean, by the time they put him down, he'd already done his job. He'd already taken out 2 defenders, 2 important defenders in Lags, and I think it was Nova you're playing the smoke, so yeah, he's going to be playing it again. Taking those 2 defenders out, amazing. Like, you'll take that trade any day of the week. Yeah, it kind of sucks to lose IQ a little bit later on, but you can already see the rest of the fans were ready to start trading back. So ShadowNet got to sort out these openings coming out from Bance, because they're on fire right now, and it's going to need the top tier defense of ShadowNet to win it here, especially as we go down to Laundry and Supply again. So maybe you get to see if they take the same strategy here to do it.
Yeah, I mean, an attempt to do that would not be a bad idea. Laundry defense is one of those sites that, even after the rework, you can play it a fair few ways about it. It seems that ShadowNet will be just prompting to retry the very same setup that they did, as we have a synchronized reinforcement. That is
nothing better than that.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing to witness. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, ShadowNet might be playing a bit closer yet this time, thanks to Levi's ballistic shield right at the entrance to this construction lobby, you could say. And yeah, apart from that, I don't think there will be any different ways about it. And well, for Bance, they'll probably end up pushing the very same position, just the construction entrance, and snowball from there. But we'll probably love to see maybe some vertical pressure, because those hatches were pretty much left unattended last time we saw them.
I mean, Bance didn't really need to last time. That's the great thing. So they're gonna, like you said, just go for construction right away again. I don't think they had Bomai last time, so ShadowNet should be able to drain a little more utility. But of course they don't have mute, so droned out is definitely going to be a problem. But at least they're holding the tunnel a little bit longer here. There's Molten Shield still somehow up. Oh, just as I say it, totally cursed, and it's all gone. But some health bars are dropping early gas grenade already. You want to watch out for that one. You do not want to get droned down in this moment here. Bance, they haven't made the same progress as they have last time, but that might be about to change.
That might be changed pretty quickly here. All the setups by Bance are being done. There's nicely done by Nate to shut down whatever the remainder of the ADSs were, and the frag grenade will be able to force Nova off the position. So that is a very quick take of the blue bunker, but now need the frags come through, because right now it's Lancordel that got down, and this is going to be, if he's going to get taken out pretty quickly and finished off, this is the loss of the stun grenades as well as the impacts, but they are going to be recovered, and instead it's Minxie to get rid of Artie. So that is the aggression of Ash with thwarted, and another avenue for the defenders to hold.
Yeah, this is what round one. Oh, hang on though. Papa finds Minxie, totally shutting that one down. Now things maybe look a little more doable here for Bance. They've got half the round to work it out. They do not have Ash, which is pretty annoying. They're losing Artie on that one, but they've still got all the breach they need. Plenty of it, in fact. And even Nate to pick out those last few electronics. So now we're getting some vertical pressure as well coming up from here. Pluto and Papa are going to be securing that position. This is now starting to pin ShadowNet down. But pretty much everyone has to watch out from any shots, because they're all on dangerously low health here, bar a few people. Oh, Nate, really just around the corner here. We could be seeing people dropping any second now.
Yeah, I like the fact that Bans, after realizing that the head-on format is no longer working for them, they are now starting to chip away vertically, some ground, trying to apply some pressure from a different angle, and this is exactly what they needed. Nate, after finally realizing that the electrical is fully in his control, will be able to just swing in, grab that kill to Levi, and that is already a solid beginning here for Bans.
Man, Nate is just on point this game, and he's continuing it as well. Pluto's gonna still pick one up. Now the defense is starting to dwindle. Pluto going to the plant here, has to be careful, or maybe he just doesn't, because Nate is still popping those heads. And now the plant goes down the moment that Nate picks up another kill and wins the round here. Bans looking on fire, and Nate is the hottest one here.
Yeah, Nate is certainly looking like a snack here. Being able to just find all those frags, just being able to just swing in. But that is also the scary part about the current meta with the IQ mains as well, because G8 got a pretty hefty buff with that angle grip, and it's already a pretty scary weapon. I mean, 900 RPM, 50 rounder, and very controllable recoil. That's all you pretty much need, and he was exactly able to utilize that very thing, plus the 3 speed of IQ, which is usually that is unheard of. Pretty much turning IQ into what Ash was when R4C ACOG was a thing.
Yeah, and his pre-fires and peaks right now, they're just feeling like they're always in the right spot. They're always at the right speed. He's just playing his heart out right now. You can feel the concentration right now. We'll see if it continues here, but it does feel like ShadowNet are warming up a little bit. That defense came a lot closer. It looked like what I was going to say in the middle of the round, but it looked like what round one probably should have been if ShadowNet had stopped Bans kind of at the construction tunnel a little sooner, didn't let Nate just go on a rampage despite being pinned down a little bit. It did slow things down, it looked a lot closer. We get a retry, so maybe we get to see the fabled ShadowNet win here on this side, but I'm not feeling super confident because it still felt like that was a good shot for ShadowNet, and it still didn't work out.
Yeah, for ShadowNet, I will be concerned, to say the very least, just because the way how things are looking right now is just they can't really afford even a single round loss, because whilst their success depends on the fact that they need to win both of the maps, for Bans they don't care. Even if they're gonna start losing out a few rounds, they only need a single map. And here it is most certainly going to be quite impactful if all of a sudden ShadowNet will just start dipping even more rounds, say a 5-0 scoreline, which is going to definitely be hurting them.
Slightly different approach here. Now advance down to the basement once more. You've got Artie and Pluto just sitting together again, but a lot of vertical pressure. But who else but Nate to open up the kills here? Onto Lags too, getting the Jaeger now off the table. Man, he just knows how to find the kills and who to get them onto.
Another cool thing so far is what Bans were doing is they continuously evolve their pushes. Before, in the previous 2 laundry pushes, we saw them only try to push the bunker entrance. Now they applying pressure from Freezer. Artie with a fantastic shot onto Minxie as well. He's just doing phenomenal work there for his team, as well as Pluto as well, applying the opposite side pressure, and this is just all falling apart now that ShadowNet are forced to contest multiple angles and have to touch up on the main stairs. This is just an all-out chaos, and Vance just able to have a flawless round there for themselves to close it out.
Yeah, and you know, there's not really much you can say about like the second half of that round, but Pluto stepping in to pick up a few kills. I want to bring his name up because it's been a lot about Nate so far, but Pluto's been there to clean up the rounds and pick up the kills that Nate doesn't catch. So he has been having a pretty sick game too. It's been 4 rounds already, and it's all been wins for Vance. So you gotta imagine most of them are going to be having good rounds, but it does feel like these 2 players are definitely pulling out the stops here today. The challenge is now on to ShadowNet right here, and you know, it's already not looking good in a series where they've got to win both maps. Still yet to pick up a round here. I am getting worried a little bit, but hey, at least we're out of the basement, Cthulhu.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah, basement has been completely abandoned now with any attempts. It seems that Bans have now a full firm grasp here over that side, so maybe a meeting hall defense could be a much better choice. certainly does seem that the ban of Clash is definitely hurting ShadowNet, because this was one of their primary kind of ways to defend a few sites, and now that they don't have that kind of mobile shield, I suppose, it is certainly forcing them to try to adapt on the go, but that is not seeming to work, at least just yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's, now that you bring that up, that's actually another really interesting thing, because they, ShadowNet normally bring out the Clash when they're not in the basement, when it's not laundry. So these are the sites where Clash would usually show up. So if anywhere we're going to see ShadowNet struggle a little bit, it might actually be on these other sites. They've kind of run out of their basement tries. So again, it's still any rounds possible for ShadowNet. I won't count them out. They're good gunners, but right now it feels like their good rounds are just not even near up to scratch against Vance right now, who are having important players popping off. Oh, I like the hole that Nova's popped open a little bit here. I wonder if they're going to walk into it here, or if Lime Cordial's going to be onto it. I mean, the window, they can hear it going out. They have an idea about the floor being open. Just over the sill here, or are they just going to...
I think they're not even going to try to contest. Maybe they heard some footsteps down before one day when opening up the window, and surely Artie should be able to find maybe the opening. He does try to play off the momentum, but oh, there's the crossing by Mingxi and will be caught out off guard. Same goes with Levi as well, who tries to assist with the push, but that is all just getting now completely floored and destroyed. And finally, Vance do know now about the hole in the floor, which they paid with their Zephyr.
Yeah, so the trap does pay off, but I mean, it's going to have to pay off a little bit more than that. It's already kind of played its trick. So now it's time for Vance to come in and clean up this round. They've lost Lime Cordial, a little annoying, but they've still got Nate for sure. Pluto's still ready to pop off at any point, really. So what do we have left for ShadowNet to defend? Basically, just trying to find what they can through the floor, and actually, they find quite a lot.
Is that a suppressed ult that I see in the hands of Space Prism? That is one way to try to play it around.
They'll never see him coming.
Oh yeah, the sneakiest Italian in all of Rainbow with a machine gun. But memes aside, it's actually one of the first few rounds when it's ShadowNet that are actually in the lead, at least man count wise, but both of the players are also tagged up. Meanwhile, the two of the Bans players are still very healthy, so the gunfights are definitely going to be favorable still for Bans.
This is a round that should mean a lot for ShadowNet to win here. But it's getting tense right now because Bants know they've got to make some moves.
Drone ready.
They may have caught someone in their web here. Well, no, they're just going to continue moving around, checking corners. They know they need to take it carefully if they want to win this round. First gas grenade does go out. Probably not as needed as they thought, but I mean, it does get them back out to safety. Space Prism cleans up one of the two kills that they need, and he does it without losing too much health. Now it's just Pluto. He's going to have a pretty amazing clutch here. Picks up the first one. It was the lowest health one, though, on Space Prism. So the lags on Nova to shut this one down. No gas grenades left. Oh, there he goes down. The magic didn't happen. But what is magical is ShadowNet finally getting around here. They are still alive.
Yeah, they will be able to keep up their chances here, albeit that on the defense, this is not particularly the scoreline that you would want to see. They need still one more point to at least make it somewhat competitive for themselves on the second half. And Kids Dorms and Main Hall are going to be the choice, which, let's just say, last time they played it, it did not start in a very favorable way, where Levi was kind of, I would imagine, caught off guard there and had to go for a bit of a prone shot, or a bit of a improv, you could say, and it didn't really pay off back then.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird move, but it's also another one of those ones where they're used to running the Clash, so that's now a little off the table. Of course, ShadowNet still have other things in their pocket, so Mingxi looks like she's going to be jumping onto a Legion for this one. So, still, you know, a few things in ShadowNet's toolbox here, but they're going to be looking for more of the magic that they found in the previous round here, where it was some of their players fighting back, finding those surprise shots from the floor. Those were good finds. Even the trap that was set up by Nova, that was a good find as well. That kept them in it. So it's these creative little things that I like from ShadowNet. It's usually not enough to win a series, but it does win individual rounds. But right now they need more than that. And I feel like maybe ShadowNet picks up a few more rounds here and there. Maybe even their attack looks a little bit better. But right now, I mean, maybe they pick this one up here again. But I feel like Vance, after letting that one slide, they're going to be a little more careful on letting things like that happen.
Yeah, they might be looking a little bit more careful, definitely. It's certainly something that they would want to make sure that they wouldn't slip up on. But yeah, with ShadowNet right now, their main approach, they can't let the pressure get to them. And we heard it from FFU players where whenever the pressure is getting on, just play from round to round basis and try to essentially play it off that. Because otherwise, there's not a whole lot of things that you can do about your morale. And, well, here right now, they just need to start winning some rounds at the very least.
Levi's still there. It's the same thing happening again, but Nate has other things to worry about, other things to shoot, so he might have his attention drawn away a little bit. Could be Levi's time to strike, but nothing does come of it, so no one will go down. Just really throughout all of that, Nova losing a little bit of health. Already one gas bomb actually thrown out already, so it must be set up somewhere. So already starting to drain a little bit of utility here coming out from Bance. So it's feeling like another pretty successful little round for them.
Yeah, kicking things off with the aggression is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Lags might still be able to keep it competitive here on his position because Nate doesn't have any vertical breaching utility, so at the very least there's going to be just a few gunshots happening. Meanwhile, off screen, it's Lime Cordial to find the shot into Minx, and that is the Legion off board. That is one of the last few things that you would want to lose out, especially given that he gets to regenerate his utility on the time basis.
Especially when you look over at what ShadowNet have left. There's one C4 that's left for them to use. Pretty much everything else drained out. But taking out Nate is a great way to come back into it. IQ off the table, that's great to remove in this final push. You gotta hope these final few traps are gonna go the distance here. And hopefully they've got some ADS left, because they're gonna need to use it. There's no gas bombs left. Levi's got his one C4 to work with. Nova's actually also pretty far away here, so he may come in for a bit of a surprise here. But right now, ShadowNet just need to focus here, batter down the hatches. That should be alright. The Lime Cordial, he's already peeked and already found one onto Lags. Nova now starting to make his moves. And oh no, they were just ready for it. Lime Cordial just on a rampage throughout this round. 30 seconds to go. Space, Prism, and Levi. The final two defenders here as the rush onto the side happens. Hardy already covering his team. One falls, and the other one's pinned down. Vance, a very, very, very clean half.
Yeah, a 5-1 scoreline is most definitely a very solid showcase that Vance are here to stay, and they are not going into that relegation bracket, at least just yet. So now that we are switching over to the second half, maybe this is where ShadowNet will start shining, but for them to comfortably shine, they needed that one more point, because a 4-round differential is certainly already quite a tall order, and to think that even after that, without any flaws, they will need to get another 2 more points, that is already quite a scary thought, at least for ShadowNet, because like we mentioned before, only pretty much a single map it will make a difference. If they lose out this map, this is it for this week's, at least, or this day's chances for ShadowNet to get out of the relegation.
Yeah, I think I'll bring up the stats on this one a little bit, but if you look at the matches that are happening next week, it's basically ShadowNet's last chance here. There's some weird scenarios where maybe they can catch up, but they really need to do it here. But we'll get into that maybe between the maps, because now we can look at what ShadowNet are going to bring out here on attack. Because remember, you're also mentioning this defense coming out from some teams here in the Laundry. Vance now bringing the Bandits, so they may be just looking to play the dance and just completely shut out ShadowNet from that happening. I fully expect it to happen though as well. Vance kind of steamrolled through construction, whereas I'm a little more confident in Vance's ability to be able to hold this site here, just completely from this one point of entrance here over in construction tunnel. Especially with the Bandit, it's going to make it a lot easier. So, I mean, now we get to see ShadowNet rise to the challenge here to try and take construction, or maybe find a way to make the vertical play happen.
Yeah, I'm curious how will they utilize that Bandit, because I'm fully expecting And we might be seeing that the moment there's going to be pressure onto Papa, he will fall back and that wall will get reinforced. Or maybe it's just literally for those 3 wall patches. But yeah, we'll have to see. For now, though, yeah, it seems that ShadowNet are bringing in it's about a similar lineup, but Lags' arrows should make things a little bit easier to push through, maybe.
We have to find these peaks so far, and well, it's actually Nate that finds the first peak. That is not an excellent start at all. It's a Sledge now off the table. Space Prism, unfortunately, just not connecting on any of these shots. If you can find one of these, getting just one happenstance headshot here, that would take out Artie. That would be a great way to enter it. One gas bomb down, so it's not all for naught, but ShadowNet, they're pulling out of the construction tunnel.
Attackers
it's not
drop
worth
the
it.
diffuser. Attackers recover.
Yeah, good decision to kind of adapt on the go. They still have the 2 hatches that they could play out. I'm not too sure if they were expecting Artie to play a little bit more aggressive, but at least thanks for them, Artie will be backing out of his position. So here is just now the main play of the game is going to be just the vertical pressure onto electrical and try to maybe wedge out the defenders from that position at the very least.
The problem here is that they've used a whole lot of time on construction, so it's going to have to be a bit of a quick one here. We know that gets a little awkward for ShadowNet, so they're going to have to really execute this final part well. There's still plenty on the table here for the defense for Vance. 2 gas grenades to buy tons of time. I think most Vulcan shields are still up. Most ADS still up. So there's even a bandit battery still ready. These peaks are going to have to be what wins it. And they already are not finding these first kills. Levi's got to find this. He's only getting a bit of damage, which is quite nice. The Vulcan does go down. So, I mean, opening the path a little bit, but we still need a bit more. Minxie on her own as well over here. Could be in trouble. Artie survives the flash. They've got plenty of crossfire here to take Minxie out, but Levi actually also has crossfire of his own. ShadowNet, they've got a little bit of time to make this one work, but those cogs, they better start turning right now.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Nate, he is waiting for someone to come around this corner here. Levi, he knows it. He knows that it's dangerous to go through. They've got to be ready to pre-fire this one. Because Nate is ready to hold that left. Papa, meanwhile, as well as Levi, going to pick a kill up a piece. It's really all about this corner here and about the imminent rush. Because here it comes. Nate, he hears something. He's got to go in the smoke to get the plant down. The C4 to stop that very plant. And stop it does.
Stop it does indeed. Vance finally getting themselves that match point as well with such a flashy play as well. The only issue for ShadowNet was that smoke bolt pretty much did not cover the fitzies as well, so that was a very clear indication for Nate to start throwing in the C4s. And a very unfortunate demise there for ShadowNet. Now sitting on a match point, they cannot allow a one more point for Vance, otherwise they'd be looking at a pretty grim picture for themselves. And that is quite a dreadful visage here themselves. But maybe it's not over yet. We did see them attempt a comeback a few times before when they were on the match point. So maybe this is where they will finally start mounting the push. Maybe this is where they will bring the heat. Maybe this is where they finally get warmed up.
There's been moments where you think, okay, maybe
Defenders, protect your bombs
ShadowNet play like this.
by attackers.
Then they can pull out the rounds they need to win. But it's just occasional moments where they pick up a kill for free. Maybe even just trade it back or a little bit better, like maybe a 2-for-1 trade. But those moments are sparse, and half the time they're not even in the same round, so it doesn't even get them to win. The problem is that this is not the ShadowNet that, you know, shows up against a big opponent like Exto. Unfortunately, that team is not showing up today, is what I'm feeling. Whereas Vance, it feels like they truly know how important this match was, and they came in with an opening statement to just crush their opponents and say, we are going to stay well out of reach from you guys. Because Vance don't even need the 2-0, really. They could probably get away with getting a draw here, but I imagine they just want to come in here and be like, nah, 2-0, you bottom 2 teams, stay well away from us.
Yeah, this is probably going to be, at the very least on the map number 2, it would be the grand showcase of Bance's performance, because while they were able to make quite a big of an upset against the team that is now known as Bitter Hams, now this is their kind of the second way of really making, like, putting essentially putting a signature onto that whole statement. Pretty much that they are still very well and able to perform even whilst initially being fairly down in the points.
You know what I'm real worried about? What ShadowNet pulls out next map, because they'll know that I mean, it's not nearly as important because things may have already gone down the drain. But let's worry about that, because this could be the final round, but ShadowNet might pull it back. They are certainly taking a bit of time here, but just setting themselves up. They got a good few holes to the floor here, fire through. It worked pretty well before when they were on defense. Can they make it work here? Attack Minxie trying to find these shots here. Hasn't been having the hottest game, but oh man, already on the fire through right now. Feels like Minxie's really the one in trouble down here, as Papa's just forcing her back entirely. And yeah, it just doesn't feel like Bance are in trouble in here at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Bance are phased in any shape or form by all of the things that are currently evolving around them. Minxie is kind of struggling for finding picks, but it's also due to the fact that there's not a whole lot of people, not a whole lot of Bance players that are actually staying around the breachable floor. But Levi finally does manage to find a shot onto Papa, so that's an early advantage there for ShadowNet. But Minxie is also very tagged up from below.
Yeah, but two people now have gone down from Bance. I just want to shout out that crossfire they got through with this window, but now it might be biting them a little bit. Got them now looking down from the defense point of view. Oh no, Artie's found Levi. ShadowNet losing players. Look at Minxie and Space Prism. They are not healthy, but at least they are breathing, unlike Pluto right now. Although Pluto, he's getting some CPR. He'll be alright. Lags, though, picks up a kill. So this is still in ShadowNet's favor here, but it's left to Minxie and Space Prism as Lags falls. Oh my god, look at the health bars on these players. They are just going to drop to a breeze. Minxie sends a gentle one over towards Pluto, dropping him. Nate now through the smoke. He's flying just one bullet apiece.
Oh.
But the quickest gun in the West is Space Prism.
Yeah, finally Space Prism is able to bring in the play here. Does end up spraying the feetsies of the last man standing of Bance, and ShadowNet are going to be staying in for at the very least one more round in this matchup. They need just, believe, yeah, 4 more to now get themselves to the overtime, and still, yeah, it's still quite a fair bit of road to go. But at the very least, if they are taking it round by round basis, they should be able to make it there. Because that approach, the way how they've played it out, was still a pretty good way of applying pressure, just forcing essentially Bance players as much as possible out of their comfort zone. And yeah, this was a little bit sloppy, but the general idea of it was the right one here for ShadowNet.
I actually really like the first half of ShadowNet.
Oh yeah.
As we go through the same stuff, they opened up the floor. And you know, at first I was saying, okay, maybe Bance aren't really worried about this, but Minxie was making them run around, and it was right in front of the crossfire from that window. And so you could see that was ShadowNet's plan, and it actually worked out. They got a few free kills through that window. Papa was just pinned down for the longest time, but alas, it did get a little messy near the end. You definitely cannot call that a safe round at all for ShadowNet. Literally getting it by the skin of their teeth. I think there was maybe 10 hit points within it. So yeah, I mean, okay, they pick up the round, they stay alive a little bit, but it doesn't instill a lot of confidence coming into the second round. Even if the first half of the last round was good, can they replicate it here? Is Bance going to be ready for it? Are they going to fall into the same trap? I don't think so, Cthulhu. I think Bance should be looking to close this one out here.
The way how they've had things set up so far has been really, really well performing. I mean, the way how they were able to isolate some of the gunfights in the previous rounds were really kind of a very noteworthy thing. But yeah, this is definitely going to be under a question whether ShadowNet will be able to make a turnaround here, or whether they will be able to acquire another dub. But at the very least, what it looks like for Bans, they are using just about the similar layout of their utility and of the positioning of operators. So Shadownet, if they will be able to drone it out, they should be able to get the openings up a whole lot faster.
Yeah, it does look like we're getting a similar plan of attack. Lag's hanging around
Attackers
a little
have located
this time, but Nate actually just gonna kill him right around the corner now. So Minxie should be a little worried, but they're gonna keep the corner into his face. But Nova is going to be the one to come out on top on that one. A really good trade for Shadownet here, but they've got to keep it up here because they've lost Lags, one of their top players in previous weeks here. Maybe not the hottest round here today. Might be Nova here to take the glory. But right now, they are still in a bit of hot water.
They're not out of this yet in any shape or form. Oh, that's an unfortunate sight to to see. Nova will be losing his frag grenade due to an ADS, and well, meanwhile, there is a bit of a trade coming out between Lime Cordial and Minxie, as we're going to be seeing Papa to be gone as well. So, still, yeah, there's still ways about it. Both of the teams could still very much perform here. The frag grenade will not be, interestingly enough, chewed up by the ADS, so yeah, that's a free entry for Nova, but Pluto should be able now to keep a very good eye onto that position.
Yeah, only 3 people that cover the angles at the moment, but 40 seconds means we're going to get a bit of a rush. But that is the wrong time to be looking to the left. Lime Cordial, and will you be punished for that one? Shadownet actually primed to pick up another round here, maybe, but they still have Artie and Bams in the way. The sponge goes out. Do they go for the plant or the frags? Pluto gets a few free shots, but oh my, Nova stays alive throughout all that. The plant now going down, just Artie gets 1 kill. Plant a bounce complete. Can he find it? Can he stop it? No, he cannot. The plant set and confirmed. 1 more shot here. Artie just looking for it with the pistol. He's running out of ammo and he's running out of time. You've also got to remember, there are 2 people he's got to worry about right now. He can't just go in for these peaks willy-nilly. He's going to have to find something here. He doesn't know where they are. Nope. Just around the corner. He would have seen you. And Shadownet. Oh, Cthulhu. They're still not out.
Comeback is real. Slowly but surely, Shadownet are able to find themselves those points. This is somewhat of a similar situation where they were previously as well, where they played out the clubhouse as well. It's slightly different map, but similar thing occurred. It was Shadownet who were on the second half, where they started to gain the points against Exto, but just fell short there. So this is where they need to make those plays. A little bit probably too close for the comfort zone, but nonetheless they still need to make those plays happen. And well, Laundry Room will be brought in, and finally Minxie will be allowed to play the shield operator compared to when they were playing on defense.
Probably not going to go ahead and ban Clash and Monty, so Minxie's going to get at least one of them, which is all good. So now I wonder if this changes how Shadownet are going to be able to approach construction. Monty wildly changes up how an attacking team can approach a site, so they might have a better shot here coming in from construction. I think that is really what kind of caught them up here last time they tried to take basement. It ate up a lot of time. They had to change position. By then, Bans knew exactly what was going on. Just kind of all things going wrong at that point. So I feel like the change of plan's good because the last one didn't really work. But I imagine Bans are going to be at least versed in this. It's something Shadownet have done before, so it shouldn't really be too much of a surprise if you catch them too much off guard. But maybe the initial engagement. Now, I feel like Bans still should feel confident, but it could be Shadownet's best chance to take the site.
I mean, as soon as Shadownet will get anywhere close to getting some of these gunfights, they will need to get rid of Papa, because he would be pretty much the main counter to Monty pushes. Otherwise, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in the C4, and I think Lime Cordial and Pluto will be using them for completely different things. But as soon as that Monty will make an appearance, this is where things might get interesting, because if you look at it, there's nobody still in the bunker. Papa is about to only now to make that rotation over there, I believe, and Shadownet are prompting potentially go for early openings onto the hatches. But again, there's a Kaya device there, which is going to make things a little bit harder.
Yeah, not going to get through that one, unfortunately. A little annoying, but hey, that's all good. A lot of anti-roaming as well here. The gridlock going to help out a lot with that. So Shadownet should be able to take this problem very head-on. Nate going to be the first problem, the gatekeeper down here for downstairs. But he has multiple angles to work on here. He's probably going to have to fall back on this one pretty quickly.
Potentially. Nate doesn't have any support. We'll be able to actually fall back to the arch with a bit of a wall to cover him. But yeah, for now, it's going to be a bit of a solo mission for him. That smoke grenade will be shot out, so at the very least that's denied. So now they know that there is the wild smoke there. Nova with the frag grenade will also be able to get rid of Nate, and Pluto will have to substitute in, which will work out, at least partially, but his position has now been revealed, so might get pressured pretty quickly if Shadownet will proceed to swing.
Yeah, Pluto gonna have to get out of there pretty quickly, and quickly he does. So this is pretty prime now for Shadownet to move in. They've gotten rid of Nate, so very much they can look at this problem head on. The last reinforcement now coming up for Papa, just gonna close that rotation off. This is the final stand here for Bans here to win it on match point. Shadownet fighting for their lives here. Mixing just gonna block the door while the breach goes down, and Artie now very locked down, position known. He's in trouble right now. But he's holding the line, he's holding the door. He'd be making Hodor proud. But now, see if he can actually get these frags here. Oh, right by Minxie's head. He gets lags. Artie just gonna be holding this one. The gas bomb goes right down on his head and forces them out to actually get taken out by him. Now Shadownet might be able to clean this one up. Just Pluto and Papa. 8 seconds left. The plant has to happen. As Papa takes Levi down. Here we go. Plant happening. Pluto actually shut down. And Shadownet, they stay alive during all of that. Space, double kill while the plant goes down.
Amidst all of the chaos, yeah, Space Prism finally is fully activating. We'll be able to find that double kill, and this is exactly what Shadownet need. That boost of morale, that ability to finally get those refrags, get the synergy going between the two players. This is all that they needed, and I would imagine also all that they've been working on for the past few days ever since the change in the roster. And this is definitely looking now like a much more competitive setup for Shadownet. Only 2 rounds remaining for them to really push it into overtime, and already this has been an absolute banger of a matchup for both of those teams, where Bounce now looking at a potential that they might have to be going into the overtime, but for that to happen they will need to lose out on another 2 more rounds, which I don't think they will be looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been saying things like that for the last few rounds, but Shadownet have been finding out ways to win it. That last round actually probably looked the cleanest, to be honest, and it's going to be on the same site here. They managed to approach it pretty much how they wanted to. They cut it a little close there, Artie turning into a bit of a superhero, but he does eventually get shut down, which is quite nice. But yeah, no, of course, Space Prism there at the end, just kind of saving it, was quite nice again, but I feel like we're going to get a similar approach to the site here. Shadownet should be getting in pretty much the exact same plan. I think the big difference here will be whether the Roma gets caught out, because this time it's going to be Lime Cordial on Jaeger.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
Nate's going to be
defuse
on
it.
the Goyo, so he's going to be holding down the fort down here, so that I think is going to be the big difference here. They can shut down any kind of roaming, so they can approach the site head on, not worry about that, not look over their shoulders all the time. Then I think Shadownet have another good chance, but that is where it begins.
Look, I mean, we've been saying that for a fair few times when we saw Bounce going for the same setup. Well, maybe they will now know how to play against Shadownet, but similar thing happened on Kids' Bedroom, where they were going for just about a similar setup, and Shadownet were able to swing in even harder and push the advantage into their favor even more so. So here, I wouldn't be surprised if we will be seeing another stomp by Shadownet, but also I wouldn't be surprised if Bounce will finally be able to get activated.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like Bounce were like caught by surprise by that build or anything. It was just an approach Shadownet used and it worked. So now we're going to finally get that breach onto the hatch. It might be popping downstairs for a little bit here, coming out from Shadownet. They're definitely keen to start approaching here. Lags going to be making the first peeks here. He's taking this nice and cautiously, getting lots of peeks done. So it's going to be a big deciding factor here whether he can survive his first opening. First Vulcan shield down. Progress now starting to be made. Ludo likely going to have to fall back from this position pretty soon. Shadownet now about to turn the corner here. They're going to get the peaks. It's really just Lag sneaking up here. He's still got all the bolts that he needs.
Yeah, Flags is able to find that opening onto Pluto in the freezer. This is going to be a huge avenue to be opened up for Shadownet, because that is, well, once again, the control of the freezer, and that is also the crossfire straight into the laundry room. Nova actually finds instead a Nate. That is the top fragger of Vance as well off the board, and that is a huge beginning here. But now Papa is about to double down onto the freezer defense with Pluto should things come to fruition, and instead it's Wild Artie that is actually going to be finding the frag there on the roam against Nova. And now things might be starting to look a little bit dicey, because roaming Wamai without any cover for Minxie is going to be a huge thing. Pluto taking quite some damage for a few pre-fires, but it's Space Prism who's applying more pressure. Artie can't connect the shots. It is a 2v3 situation. Another swing. Len Cordial is the one to find Levi. Down to Space Prism and Lags now to try to bring this back one more time for Shadownet. Otherwise, Bans are looking at finding the win here. 7 more seconds of pre-fire from Space Prism. It's a 1v1 situation. The plant needs to go down, but Artie will be just running away and draining the time. And this is the round for Bans to finally win this out. This is the map 1 for them. And Shadownet, unfortunately, will be losing out on this one.
And what a courageous way to win it there for Artie at the end. Running for his life, not looking for the fight. But hey, whatever gets the point, gets the map, makes you happy. Bance, stoked to pick that one up. We talked about what this means for both teams. Bance were happy to just grab at least one map. They are fine with how the series goes now. If it ends in a draw, okay. You know, maybe they have to fight a little bit next week, but now they're set up into a decent position. Shadownet can't touch them. They are essentially, I mean, basically out of the relegations at this point, I believe. I mean, Shadownet can't touch them for at least another week, I believe, because they're now on 4. Shadownet would be on 2 if they get 1 point here. So yeah, it feels like things may be done and dusted. So maybe we see something crazy come out of Shadownet, because maybe they are a bit of a memey team. They've pulled out things like the Chunker before. So I wonder, one, how out of the you know, avoiding relegations they feel they are already, if they've added up all the points. And 2, if they're actually going to play around or just give Bance some major respect and just continue through the series to make them work for it here. Because again, it's always about the drive from the team that drops the first map, how much they want to win the second one. But I think the players are going to be looking for a bit of a break here, Cthulhu.
Yeah, we are going to be taking a little bit of a break to give the players a little bit of a time for a breather. So we will be back very shortly, as we will be continuing on map number 2, Shadownet versus Bans, and maybe Shadownet will be able to at least claim one more point for themselves.
Welcome back, everyone. We still are smack bang right in the middle of a series between Shadownet and Bans. This one's a bit of a battle between the bottom of the table here, but Bans have already taken map number 1 on Oregon. Now we go to Clubhouse to see if they can close out the 2-0, or Shadownet can fight back for a 1-all draw. Cthulhu, it has been Bance already kind of locking in the result they want here. So what do we think's coming out here? Are the teams going to meme it up a little bit, or are we going to see them both still continue to try hard here to you know, give respect to the other team and you know, play their little hearts out? What do you think's coming out here? How well do we know these teams?
I think Bance might be playing a little bit more of a casualized game here now that they've got essentially what they needed from this matchup.
Do it, Shadownet.
Yeah, we did see before a Maverick and a Thermite ban, which was a very odd one to say at the very least, but...
That was on Exto, and it threw them off on attack, actually.
Yeah,
so...
it did throw Exo off attack, so yeah, that did work pretty well.
I think it threw Shadownet off a little bit, too.
Well, we'll see in just a moment. It's rather going to be Nomad, so nothing too odd, per se. Albeit Nomad is somewhat of still a rare ban, in at least in LPL Pro. But yeah, I mean, Clubhouse is definitely one of the better performing maps for ShadowNet. This is the map that they've been picking over and over again for a fair few times and just maybe practicing it a little bit more. And for bans, yeah, they probably going to be playing it a little bit more casual. ShadowNet would still want to grab at least a point just to kind of at least that extra something, so at least they would be able to walk away from this matchup at least without not empty-handed. And another Clash ban is another showcase that bans are, while they may be or may not be taking this a little bit more casually now, they're still gonna play it out to their favor.
Yeah, it feels like we've got the same fire from game number 1. I feel like both teams are still going to be playing very similarly, so nothing too weird coming out from either side. ShadowNet not going and banning the Thermite, so that one will be picked up on attack here. It was kind of interesting because they did it last week against Exto, but it's clear they're thinking it's not something that really worked out here. So we do go back to the normal style of Clubhouse, where we just have bandit tricks for like half the rounds, but yeah, we're going to start things off here on Gym and Bedroom, so still expect to see quite a lot of that going on here. But yeah, I think the main point to take away here is that both teams are so well versed here on Clubhouse. They both pick it up a fair amount. ShadowNet probably more so. But it's just a map that teams don't like to back their hand these days.
Yeah, most of Clubhouse has been shredded out all 150%. All over the place, and there's not a whole lot of spots now that have been left undiscovered, albeit we sometimes see some rather unconventional plays here and there. Sometimes we even got to saw once a bar and supply room defense, which was an oddity in its own self, but probably not within this matchup where we'll be seeing it happen. So for now, yeah, it's just going to be a gym beginning for bans, as they just want to get rid of that unwanted side and maybe get an early win on that and then go into their rather more favorable sides.
But of course, it should still be a familiar one, and nonetheless, like you said, probably not likely to see any of those more or less commonly seen sides. I like the use of proximity alarms now coming out as well. Very easy to fight them around here. People don't normally look around too much. So definitely kind of useful here, but it's going to be all about just holding these windows here. Definitely one of those more awkward sites here with plenty of ways
Attackers have
from the
dropped the
outside
bomb.
in, plenty of ways to be shot from the outside in. And of course as well, you've got to worry about the other side of the building, where ShadowNet, as long as they get past line, should have an easy way in, but of course, it's all about this little dance here.
Yeah, the dance of breaching is definitely going to be performed here between Levi and Artie. Both of them will be trying to undo each one another's game. For now, it seems that, yeah, bans are sitting pretty nice and comfy there, as the breach onto the purple barricade is going to be happening pretty quickly, which will be forcing Artie off his position, so that is already a good position. That's a very fortunate frag there by Minxie as well onto Papa. So now the push into the gym should be a pretty free entry, but don't count on it just yet, because there's still also Pluto waiting for that crossfire to be done. And this is where ShadowNet could trip up, especially from that C4 as well that Artie just threw out.
Yeah, you can't just be letting things like that happen here on the first round on attack. But we've got all the doors open now for ShadowNet. They have all their points of entry ready to go. They just have to start making them safe to go through right now. Lags, getting rid of Glide Cordion now opens up a very new pathway inside right now. So ShadowNet should be looking to surround Pans here. They're now starting to run out of things. I believe there's one more gas grenade left. here coming out. Yeah, there it is. And so Artie finding space here. That's very, very useful, but it's still a 3v2 right now. Artie, very quick, very squishy though. Very powerful gun, not a whole lot of utility. And he's got Nova and Levi right on the other side of him. I think he knows, but yeah, there's the gas grenade. I think he knows his lifetime's a little limited as soon as they turn around that corner. But no, they're doing it through the gas. And Pluto, now he's dropped down as well. He's just pinned down right here in the corner. They know where he is, and they hunt him down. Shadownet assimilate round number one.
That was a really...
Not how you use that word.
Nonetheless, it was still a very good push that Shadownet performed. It was really well coordinated. They managed to take control of the gym, were able to establish dominance over the whole side as it is, and then bit by bit just try to get rid of each and every roamer. Really, the control of the cache was probably established a little bit too late, probably for their comfort, but nonetheless it was still established, and they were able to lure out the last one to be in quite a bit of a pinch. So yeah, well done to Shadownet, as the first round is now going into their hands.
Yeah, good little opening. Little step-by-step plan, easily worked out there. Something as well is, I don't know how Papa stayed alive throughout a lot of that round. He was just kind of hidden down right in the corner underneath the window, but yeah, he wasn't really going to be making out of that one too soon. But let's go downstairs. Church and Arsenal here, very different little site, but still one we've seen very, very often. I wonder if we'll see, maybe in future rounds here, I wonder if we'll see the monster. Could be a bit of a Shadownet special, but it's not going to happen in this round here. So it will just be a little bit more normal going into it. But Shadownet are coming in with plenty of ways to open up every single thinkable way into the site here. So
5 seconds to insertion.
They've got the tools here for the job here. It looks like it could be another strong
Attackers
attack.
must locate and defuse a bomb.
Sure does. I mean, looking even at the Bans lineup as well, this is looking like a pretty well set up defensive roster by them. They have the Legion to kind of slow things down, maybe slow the aggression. They got the Mozzie to deny the drones, albeit probably if you want to go for a bit more of a mass denial, Mute would have probably been a bit more better of a decision, but nonetheless. And the Jaeger and Akaya to slow things down for the breach and for the grenade. So it's a pretty well balanced lineup, and Nate should be able to also do the impact tricking on the kitchen hatch, which is probably one of the most important ones to defend.
It is one that does seem to slip by quite often for the defenders though, so if you can manage to get it, it could be quite reloading. Cover me! To deny Shadownet the entry from above would be massive. They don't lose anyone from above, that'd be huge. So definitely going to be important to watch that one. But another thing to remember as well is they've got things like Sledge, who are going to be opening up all the soft floors all over the place, so you do still have to worry about any kind of danger from above, but
concussion ready.
Of course, they'll be ready for that one when using the hatches, but the hatch gets open, that's where things really start to get into a bit of trouble for Bans.
Yeah, oh, there's a lot of floor being opened up, not a whole lot of space as well for Bans to really even have a safe ground to really try to do some breach denial, but nonetheless, Bans are able to do it. Nate, phenomenal work with the impact tricking as well as his position to be able to fall back straight away, which will be ensuring at least a delay in the breach, but still, full set of X-Kairos used up before the breach into the hatch has been done, and now the rest of the breaching work will be delegated over to Levi, the Shadownet roster.
Yeah, so again, most of the doors now open. It's, like you said, up to Levi to open up the next one. But there's not a lot of time for him to do so, so probably going to have to be looking for that one quite quickly. We're gearing up for a 5v5 here, always awkward here on the final push. You have 5 defenders to worry about right now. So they're going to have to look for some of these peaks here, but really they're going to have to start moving down this tunnel. Nova has to make his move soon. He's going to be walking right into Artie, but here it comes right now. First set of trades going down. Plant actually going down from Space Prism. So now we're going to be looking at the grenade. Now Nate actually just let it happen under his nose. He does get one kill for it. Does he kill the planter? No, he doesn't. But it's chaos everywhere, Cthulhu. Can Papa stop this one? He's still got one more gas bomb. It's going to be going down to block the tunnel. Keep Nova out. They've got to kill Space Prism in this time. And they do so. They do so. They should be able to go for the defuse here. As that gas bomb's still going, and Pluto has got his eyes on the side. No, he goes down. Can he stop it? Can he stop it? He does. Nova! He comes through the tunnel and delivers them round number 2.
Absolute mad lad Nova, able to just run away, steal away that whole round that Bance nearly had as well. 1v2, usually that scoreline should give pretty much a really good indication that Bance should be able to take the control of the round, but no, instead it was thanks to Nova's massive efforts that they are now in a 2-point lead against Bance, and that is already a much better performance comparative to what we saw during map number 1.
I gotta put that one a little bit onto Bance though. He had 1 point. Nova had 1 point of entry. You knew he was gonna come out of it pretty much down to the second, and I feel like he really should never have been able to get out of that one, but he did, and he capitalized on it super hard. So Shadownet are certainly starting to steal away some of these rounds right now. This is kind of what happens where they play good rounds, like round 1, and then they have these rounds where they steal the wins away, where maybe they shouldn't have won. So this is one of those maps where maybe it does look like Shadownet can pull it out. We've seen them have very good starts before though, and things fall apart after that. So hold your breath for now. But those are 2 quite nice rounds for Shadownet, even if the last one was a little dicey. But it should put Bance, I don't know, might tick them off a little bit.
You could definitely tick them off, at least considering that they were such in a roll Bance early on into map number 1, and then kind of started slowly to lose their momentum overall. The previous rounds on... Sorry, the last rounds on Oregon were definitely looking a little bit shaky for them, but same goes here for Clubhouse. They can't seem to be able to find any sort of momentum, any sort of fragging, or at least stable fragging, and now resulting to a few runouts. This is a bit of a sign that maybe of some desperation for the frags.
Yeah, or maybe some vengeance here.
Maybe vengeance
back and kind of deny any kind of chance that round was slipped away. But I mean, hey, they don't really find anything from it yet, but it's still a vigil. It's still something a little fun later on for Shadownet to come in and deal with. It is a retry of the site though, so still similar plan for Shadownet to get inside and similar win and fail conditions. But of course, we come right down to the very same conclusion here. It might be a little different in that 1v2.
Just maybe. For now, Bance looking pretty strong. I'm pretty sure the Vigil has already at the very least made a rotation up from up above back to the site, which should ensure just some more fragging power there for Bance at the time of need. But instead, no impact trick will be done. Pretty quick breach here by Space Prism, and he still is able to preserve 2 of the X-Kairos sets, which should allow some very swift breaching. And for Levi, that's just means that another one of his Brimstone charges could be used up on one of the other walls to be opened up for the future plans of this round.
Yeah, but the thing is now, Cthulhu, we're sitting in a similar position to last time. 5v5, about a minute to go, all the doors open. This time though, Shadownet are on a little less health, but it's still very similar, right? They still have to walk into the same peak fights, worry about the same roamers, and worry about the same time limit. This man here on your screen, Nate, is probably going to be the biggest problem for them. They're going to have to worry about him, but they should know he's a problem by now, and shouldn't be caught by surprise.
I don't think they've drawn him out though, or at the very least gotten any clear indication as to where exactly he could be. Because look at this, 4 players of Shadownet are all just swarming around. Only now Nova has taken point at the overlooking the bathroom, but Lime Cordial's angle prone from the double door is pretty much exactly what was needed. Pluto as well, finding the shot into Nova before even Vigil gets the kill, and this is all just falling apart. Finally, though, will be shut down, but the damage has already been dealt. It is a 2v4. Make it a 1v4 is now all down to Lags. He will be dropping down and very swiftly will be shut down by Lime Cordial.
And I guess that's the problem when you open up the floor so much. It's so easy to find these small little peaks onto you. Lime Cordial finding a beautiful little angle on actually a few moments there. And then, of course, like we were mentioning, Nate, you know, he manages to get that sneak up, probably caught ShadowNet quite off guard to really kind of sink the knife one in there for round number 3 to bring one round back here. It felt like Bants were pretty strong on that one. But yeah, it did feel like ShadowNet were also a little slower on that one, forcing them to maybe rush a little bit more. But yeah, once they were caught out by Lime Cordial, that was all kind of done and dusted there. So now we get to go to our probably one of my favorite sites, the old CCTV in Cache. Very fun one. We get the real Bandit dance if he's ever picked up here. This is the best door to do it on.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Well, yeah, no Bandit here will be picked. Instead it's just gonna be just a whole lot of info gathering and maybe some flexible roaming really be brought out by Bants, because no Kayed, no Mute, no Bandit to be seen here, and instead it's a Maestro decision to be brought on board. Same goes for Nate as well. The two of the info gathering ops should be allowing Bants to go for some rather more aggressive plays, but who knows, maybe the Valk cams and the Maestro cameras are going to be used for some disruption rather than runouts and aggression.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Okay.
Defender has left the designated staging area.
I'm thinking maybe there might be some very sneaky little aggression. I wonder how long that Valk cam is going to stay up for Nate though. But at the very least, when it does go down, it gives them a good idea of who's hanging out there. But yeah, look at him now. He's going nice and far down. You can imagine Nate wants to get some surprises going into this one. Of course, ShadowNet not going to meet too much resistance here on the electricity, but Nate, well, he's shocking here in this game right now, and in a good way. He's still managing to pick up kills here on map number 2.
And taking out Nova, the man who was able to clutch out on round number 2 and was able to swing in a fair few rounds on Oregon as well into favor of ShadowNet, is going to be quite a tough one. Levi as well is not particularly enjoying his life, at least just yet on this map, as the man is still yet to get either an assist or a frag. And meanwhile, plenty of progress being done and quite a whole lot of utility being dumped as well by ShadowNet, just to ensure that it is going to be a very quick, very prompt breach.
Yeah, whatever's on the other side of that wall, we don't care. We're just going to shoot it from below and make sure this one goes off. So Levi is going to get some pretty good peek angles through that big breach hole, but if they just keep letting Nate do this, they won't have a team to finish the push off with. He is just mowing through them. I wouldn't be surprised to even see an ace if he keeps this one up, but let's see what ShadowNet can pull off here. They've got 3 members. Just over a minute to make it work here. They've got to find some really good kills here in some pretty short amount of time here. Levi might find it here. He's got a decent angle and even pinned him down. Oh, that is a juicy gas grenade. Chunks Levi's health, gets him off the position, runs down the clock. ShadowNet are running out of time.
There are, with barely any reinforcements now there, 3v5 is definitely quite a challenge here to be pulled off. Minxie and Lags are still at full health, so at the very least there's that, and they might have the advantage in a few gunfights. But the way how Bants are playing in a very conservative way, in a very kind of passive-aggressive way, is definitely not helping ShadowNet in any shape or form. A swing out by the Jaeger of Lime Cordial is going to be there, and we'll be tagging up Minxie quite substantially. Pluto is also there on the off-screen, is certainly not helping the overall situation, but at the very least Levi is able to find 1, maybe 2. No frags will be found anymore by ShadowNet, and it is going to be Bants to finish out the round number 4.
And round 4, very clean. Or very easy to close that one out for Bants. Nate doing the heavy lifting in the first part of the round with some very strong roaming, really shutting them down. So maybe those Valk cams did help out, like you were saying. It's something that it's quite hard to see the power of quite often, is just the power of the intel that teams have. Kind of in the opposite way when you see like Mutant Mozzie, like how the denial of intel is very impactful, but you don't really see it. Same thing here with things like the Valkyrie cam, and I think they had the Maestro cam as well in that one. So they really played on the strengths of it, letting Jaeger roam so hard. You know, Nate being able to find those kills. So if you can do it again, I mean, that's obviously a very easy way to win these rounds. I don't know if they can rely on it every single time, but
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I mean, Shadownet are coming close on these ones where Nate doesn't find rooms. So, I mean, these rounds can swing either way. 2 of those points could easily have been banned.
Well, running up on round 5. The gym choice is, I mean, it's a forced one at this point because they already went through church, they went through CCTV, and the next ideal thing is, yeah, going to be gym. That side has previously been played out in favor of Shadownet so far, but now that band's kind of maybe a bit more familiar as to how Shadownet playing this map, what is the general kind of pacing there. Maybe this time they will be able to find the success, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for it just yet, just because Shadownet, while yeah, they might be on a bit of a back foot, especially after a bit of a demoralizing loss on the first map. Here, I reckon they just might be able to come out with a dub and at the very least finish this match up with a draw, but again, there's still plenty of time for either one of the scenarios to happen.
Oh, no.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No. Okay, so...
Oh wait, that is a long angle. Wait, that was from Cash. Holy!
What? Oh my god.
Yeah, Lime Cordial was in Cash holding. That is a nuts angle. Papa also rubbing the soul onto Levi. That is already a yikes.
Yeah, they're just cleaning out the surroundings. We're kind of, you know, still pog champing over what just happened, but I mean, two kills already. Run out's still starting to happen. Shadownet falling apart very quickly, and we're just over a minute into the round. They've lost their thermite now, so any chance of any like viable holes now gone. I mean, space, maybe you can get your hatch open here or there, but you really want those big doors open from the outside, and I mean that's just not likely to happen well enough with the Hibana. So it's just gonna get denied too easily. Shadownet just in a lot of trouble here, and it all just started with that nutty shot from Cash.
Yes, it's definitely quite a pickle here for Minxie. She doesn't have any kind of cover and a single peek. The moment she will get her eyes off the Cash or CCTV, for that matter, will be pretty much signaling just about the end of the round for her. Some utilities being chewed up here as well by the ADSs is now, after staying for a little bit too long, maybe by those windows, she will be prompting to potentially go in for the push through CCTV and Cash, but even that is not looking very likely. There's already a drone seeing and calling out that there is a crossfire being made, so it was a bit of a odd decision to try to jump into that hatch.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the clock, dude. They're running out of time. They've got to make some sort of decision soon. Crossfire or no. And the thing is, fans know this, so they're sitting back. They're just waiting for Shadownet to drop in. Minxie has already been found, likely outside, probably for a run out. But here it comes, the drop down to death, and it's a flawless round by Mats.
By the way, did you know that you can actually rappel to the back of that wall where that slight fence is, and you can actually peek through that fence at a much tighter angle on through that hatch where the logistics wall has been opened up?
I think they should have done that, maybe. Maybe that was the way back then.
Yeah. But... Maybe that spot was patched. I'm not too sure. I think I was able to pull it off like maybe a few weeks ago, but it's one of those questionable ones because it still technically leaves you open for those angles to be pre-fired as well. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword there for the attack to try to utilize.
Yeah, but of course an extra angle. It's an extra angle, but I feel like
It was
that
also
round
the
was
time,
really
yeah.
over when Vance got 2 kills in like 30 seconds at the start of the round. I think that was what really sold it there, and from there it was just
defuse as many bombs as they
climbing up Mount Everest for ShadowNet. But final chance here for them on attack. We saw the idea of Lion kind of being toyed around. With ShadowNet, kind of wouldn't be surprised, but it doesn't stick around, unfortunately. But Thatcher does get to come to the table, so these breaches at least should be going off a little bit easier. But for Church and Arsenal, I wonder how useful these ones are going to be. They're going to at least guarantee some vertical access.
10 seconds left.
How well are they going to use it?
My main curiosity here will be at the play of Nate with the Pulse, because so far out of the whole roster of bands, we saw him probably the most to be switching around on different ops. Sometimes he will be playing the Jaeger, sometimes he will be swapping and giving the Jaeger to Lime Cordial, sometimes it's him on some of the bandit plays. It's all over the place.
Think about it though. Oh, hang on though. Before you do any thinking.
Defender has left the area of operation.
Alright. So remember how much ShadowNet opened the floors here when they're going for the hatch. Imagine how easy it would be for Nate to just find a cheeky little point where he can chuck a C4 up and get a sneaky kill, maybe even a multi-kill. That would really save a round. It's just so much easier on your pulse. So I wonder if that's the idea that Vance are toying around with here, because it can certainly work.
Yeah, Vance trying to maybe prevent that opening of the floor is not a bad idea at all. I mean, the way how ShadowNet were doing it, they were doing it off a great amount of momentum, so pretty much curbing that momentum from the get-go would be a pretty solid idea overall. Nate's play with the heartbeat scanner should allow some more angles to be opened up, but rather instead it's just the hatch is just going to be opened up like it's nothing.
Okay, trying their luck at where Nova is, but he's going to start opening up this floor. And here it comes, the first C4 from Nate. It is just a bit of a whiff there, not even getting any damage at all, so has to fall back from the site. Now maybe that's their trick gone, but they do still have a few more C4s on other members. Maybe they can find something with a little bit of communication.
Yeah, possibly that could happen very swiftly, but we're still yet to find that out. Breach will be done in the construction site, and well, that's Papa's position now will be forced off, and ShadowNet at the very least, once again, promptly making the push here and just opening yet another spot for the push, as Minxie's actually taking up the position at the garage storage stairs. So already pretty good, not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the different lines they've got right now, and they're actually starting to find them. Oh, Nova just through the cloud finds the nade as well. So ShadowNet, they've opened the door. 30 seconds to go. They just need to not drop the ball here. Pluto, Nate. Oh, Nate's already falling, and he does eventually go down. It's just Lime Cordial to continue this one up. We've seen a clutch already tonight. Will this be an even bigger one? He's got to find a way to retake the site, because it looks like this plant is going to be going down. He'll have the high ground. He's making a lot of noise running around here. They should know where he is, and they tracked him down.
There we go. ShadowNet finally managed to break that streak that Vance had, and will be able to take a 3-3 scoreline in their favor. Should allow them to potentially get a chance at able to maybe win out this map at the very least, to score themselves a point for all of the troubles that happened on Oregon. But at the very least, yeah, just so far it just gives maybe a bit more hope comparative to the conclusion of first half on Oregon.
Yeah, but like I always say, when the maps are very, very close after being a little more one-sided, it's going to be when they swap sides if there is going to be a difference here. ShadowNet, they've been going toe-to-toe while they've been on attack, but question is now, can they still hold it on defense? When they swapped the defense on Oregon, it did look a little better, but I mean, you can't obviously just translate that map to map. So we'll see here if they can continue the test. It's going to start off here at Church and Arsenal. This is a site that has had some troubles, but also some success for ShadowNet, even if some of the successes came by a hair's width, but it's going to be their chance to open it up here. But like I said, if there's going to be a difference, it's going to start here for Bans if they want to start going all the way ahead. Otherwise, we may just be seeing overtime.
Yeah, maybe both of the teams will be able to duke it out on overtime. Maybe we will be seeing ShadowNet just completely plow through their opposition here. I'm interested to see how will Minxie play her position up above, because we don't usually see a whole lot of vertical play to come out from the teams, just because they get flushed out pretty quickly. But sometimes when it works and some of the angles that are being held pretty steadily, sometimes they make just the dream work there and being able to shut down, even at the very least, the Hibana breaches. So here instead, it's just going to be a just a few maybe goo mines set up, a few checks of the drones, and yeah, just a default back to the site.
Scanning for electronic devices. A bomb
Always
has
the
been
cozy
located.
side down here. Always feel so protected until that tunnel breach comes through. But you know, that's for later.
Attackers have located a bomb.
For now, though, it's a tight little clubhouse between these two teams. Means quite a lot for ShadowNet to just pick up 1 point here, just for a little bit of honor. Bans obviously want to make the same, but let's open it up with a bang here. IQ now on the table. What we find here, Nate has just been having a total banger of a series so far. IQ seeming to be the operator of choice for the night. But won't be the first one to frag though. That honor is going to go over to Papa, who picks that one up onto Nova. This is already a really good start here for Vance. I can't imagine it's going to slow down here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slower one here for the push, as Nate is just trying to hip fire onto the camp. Oh, come on. That's, we can also see, we can see all of it, Nate. I'm sorry, mate, but that is not it, Chief. But yeah, this is, oh man, this is a bit of a sloppy start for both teams, rather, as Nova's demise is definitely not something that ShadowNet would have wanted early.
Yeah, but I mean, Bans seem to have all the tools that they need. Everything's still kind of in the pocket right now. We still haven't really unleashed Nate just yet. It's about to start happening right now as Geeks and his pre-fires are starting to again. But now the pings are starting to come out. Now he knows where they are, but some of these shots back are starting to hurt. But Bans are giving it back a little stronger. They might lose Pluto, but it certainly wasn't for free. His lags has dropped now as well. Nate's still yet to really find his value at the moment. He's on the floor in front of him, but we're looking for the value here. Papa has found his value. Lime Cordial, his too. Maybe we don't even need Nate here in this round, Cthulhu. Minxie just here looking for the clutch, but with the plant going down, a retake not looking likely. He's really gonna have to find some great kills here, but not gonna happen. Advance, they win round 7.
It was a pretty nice deconstruction there by Vance to just completely thwart any attempts that ShadowNet would have had for defense of the church, and rather instead just took those gunfights, won them out pretty quickly, and that's about all she wrote on that one. But yeah, this is so far looking like maybe Bans are now finally starting to make the push. Maybe this is where they make the big play, or rather maybe it's just a slight setback for ShadowNet before they will actually finally go for that push.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty strong opening here on attack. Everything seemed pretty solid. You get one kill pretty early on, then another one pretty soon after that one as well. You're already looking at a 5v3. So just some really good superior peaks coming out from Bans early on through that one. Really setting the stage for it. Don't know if they'll be able to get it every time, but it has been happening a few rounds now, particularly coming out from Nate. But now, I mean, it's hard to even single out someone on the team who's been doing it, because there's been so many members from Bans. Every one of them has had their moments finding some of his kills, so mostly for free, being the important ones. So I mean, yeah, we can hype up Nate, and he certainly had a great Oregon. But right now, this is a team win here, coming out on Clubhouse. Of course, they haven't got the job done just yet, but I mean, you don't feel like the round is over when one person, like say Nate dies on Bance. I feel like any time Bance still can bring this one back.
Yeah, Bance seeming to be continuously on the roll, but this is I was about to give praise to some of the plays of ShadowNet. It's Nate that has a perfect angle onto the bandit that was trying to reinforce the doorway to prevent him from being stunned by Zofia. And that is already that is unfortunate. Yeah, that is a bandit as well, so no more bandit tricking there. That is a perfect coordination. And yeah, to add up to your point as well, it always feels like it's Band still most of the time in control of the momentum, and it seems that ShadowNet at least half of the time when they get those wins, it's off the fact that Band slipped up on one of their executions.
Yeah, well, not even slipped up, it just came to a clutch team fight where any members can really win. This round's still going to continue. Lags, I don't even know how he's still alive, to be honest. But he's still standing there, hobbling around. You know, still talking about the fact he's still got 3 gas grenades in his pocket, which will be useful if he can stay alive. And even killing Nate is going to buy ShadowNet a lot more power back into this one. But now Space Prism almost as hurt as Lags right now. This is getting dangerous for them. Lags now finally falls over. Can he get back up? If he does, he might even be more healthy than before, but of course not being able to drop again. Of course it's going to be Space Prism back up. 2, like, crippled old man. Oh, let's get back into this one, boys.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, he's just gonna be kind of trying to sing about saying that, oh yeah, I can still fight. It's just a flesh wound after like having his hand shot off, his foot shot off. He's just trying to still fight back. Space Prism at the very least will still be able to fall back and, well, won't be rezzed as there was a pre-fire, I believe, from below. Another gunfight between Nova and Limecordial, and Nova will be successful in that one as Nova is waffle and now the shots. 2v2 now, but the plant is going down, so now it's going to be a game of rather retake.
Attackers are activating.
Yeah, this is a pretty annoying one to retake right now, but they will try. He's gas. Starting to cough a little bit here, mate. Papa, be a little careful, but just holding down the angles right now, looking for the retake. It's now on ShadowNet to move in, to go for these dangerous peaks. Papa, no fear at all, holding it the whole time. And he's still just around the corner, finds Nova eventually. Just Lags now to shut down Papa and Bance
Defenders have located the
and Pluto. They've almost done it here. They've got every single line down. That window, no problem. Papa finds Lags. Bance grab round 8.
Yeah, yet another round has been completely won out here for Bance. Another fairly clean sweep, albeit seemed like China could have grabbed themselves that round, but no, Bance were pretty unrelenting on that one. And with round 9 coming up, it's going to be another CCTV attempt by ShadowNet, as it's getting closer and closer to potentially a 2-0 for Bance. I mean, they're only 2 rounds away from finding that dub, and if they do end up finding the win here, the 2-0, this is going to propel them quite close to even, I believe, PC419's position points-wise, which is a very interesting thought to think about now that we are getting closer and closer to the conclusion of the main part of the season.
Yeah, I might have to double check some of the maths, but a 2-0 does technically put Bance in a viable, or in a position where they could jump into the top 4, but that relies on a lot of funky other results happening. Yeah,
but a whole lot of ifs.
So you're definitely not going to be relying on it, but of course, if they want the chance of it to happen, they need to get to it though here. But yeah, these last few rounds have been Bance.
10 seconds left.
I mean, the first thing I want to say in common for them is they just get these kills at the start of the round. I think, yeah, it was Levi last time on the Bandit. He's here again.
Attackers are moving out to look for
very crucial operator here. Hopefully he remembers what happened last round, because he cannot just die at the start of the round again. That was a close one for ShadowNet that they could have brought back. Imagine if they had 5 operators from the start.
Let's see if ShadowNet will be able to fight back here once again. We saw them kind of start pulling off some of the rather more interesting plays closer to them being to losing out the map. So maybe this is where they bring the fire back in. Another attempt at the Landon. Maybe he's just getting. Oh, goodbye, Levi is just getting completely destroyed from down below. Two of the breaching charges actually used rather than the Zephyr breaching charges, and Blitz Lime Cordial to find his own frag there onto Space Prism. So the German duo is gone.
I just want to give a little clap to Vance for that little play. They made Levi dance, and they had every little spot mapped out. They took him out so easily. I was so impressed. I don't even see how Space Prism died in that. But we're looking at the same sort of thing we've seen the last few rounds, Cthulhu. 2 people already dead for ShatterNet. They're crucial in keeping the wall up. And Vance can kind of just walk on through. They did meet some resistance last round, just like this, with Lags taking out Nate of all people. But they did still end up dropping the round here. But they did bring it close. However, losing Minxie stops it being close, because now that garage is going to open all the way up.
Yeah, with only Nova and Lags remaining against the 4-man squad of Vance, it is not looking quite favorable, albeit that Nova does find the shot onto Lime Cordial, so that does allow some more even ground come into the hands of ShatterNet, albeit both of the SES players are now on a very small patch of ground, safe ground that is, to play off, and Artie is actually looking for a frag. He needs that pixel angle. There it is, does find it. Can he find a second one? He does, and that is another round. That is a match point for Bandsnap.
Yeah, solid swift execution there at the end. I thought maybe ShatterNet had the clutch potential to bring it back in. I know there was a C4 setup somewhere underfoot, and they still have 3 gas grenades left. I thought maybe they could find a way to buy the time, but I think you nailed it on the head there. Just in such an awkward position. And you can see Bands just swing right around onto them and execute them very swiftly. But match point, Cthulhu. Bands 1 step away from snagging a 2-0, snagging the delicious 3 points, and even if it's only technically, keeping them in the race for that top 4 spot for the playoffs. But of course, they do just have to lock out 1 more round here. ShatterNet going to be fighting for their lives here, because of course I believe there's still like some technical ways where they could come back, but you look at the matches coming up and it's like not really. But I mean, hey, if ShatterNet want to hope, they've got to win this map here.
Yeah, ShatterNet need each and every bit of their power now to be pushed out here on the gym defense, because this is their last chance to maybe at least find maybe just 1 more point, because sitting with a single point here at close to the end of the bracket is certainly probably one of the rather worst feelings to have here, especially against one of the better matchups for themselves, one of the closer ones that was expected at. But here it's that curse of the 7-3, 7-4 scoreline seems to be plaguing them even still to this day.
Yeah, I mean ShatterNet has PC419 next week, where like maybe they can pull off a map win, maybe get 2-0, but you really wanted to snag the wins here. Against Bants, where it probably would have been easiest. It's just a shame that I feel like not the strongest ShatterNet showed up today. We've seen stronger against stronger teams. Just a little awkward timing. But, I mean, hey, they've still put out some pretty good performances here so far, and they still are alive. So, jump into this one because they still have every member alive. This has been a big problem for them in the last few rounds. So, I mean, hey, it's a good first step to make sure they've got all 5 members alive. But Levi, maybe he's trying to challenge that. He's already lost a little bit of health, but hey, he stays alive.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah, able to stay alive. Still has plenty of his utilities, still has 3 of his bandit batteries as well to play off. So, at the very least, yeah, it's not a man disadvantage just yet, as Minxie's actually about to go onto the roam, but yeah, instead it's just, yeah, Nova is able to actually hit the shot, so that's the pressure onto the red stairs completely denied, and now all up to Nate to actually solo push it, and against the trio that is now holding the cash, it is going to be quite a challenge. But Nate already proved before that he was quite a master at some of these gunfights.
Oh, he's already taken one shot though. He's already throwing out some breaches too, just to get one extra angle onto these attackers. He's holding this one down pretty well, but all good things must come to an end in Cthulhu, as he does drop down eventually, not taking anyone with him either. Just a little bit of Nova's health bar. Shadownet, so far, very strong hold, and it continues as Papa gets dropped right down. We're gonna find some very beautiful little peaks here from the final two members of Vance if they want to clutch out the map here and now. But we may be having to go to another round here if Vance want to win this one out.
A bit of a tough ask here for Vance. Even though they were looking quite confident in their previous plays, it seems that this time it is ShadowNet that was able to dictate the pace. They were able to very firmly lock down the cash room, and with that coming to fruition as well, Minxie is able to find a shot onto Lime Cordial, but Pluto is still not ready to at least give this round to be a flawless for ShadowNet, so we'll be able to take at least one frag on the exit, but right now all the angles, all the peaks are going into the favor of ShadowNet, so they will be able to claim themselves that fourth round and potentially look at maybe pushing this into OT after 2 more rounds.
Yeah, see, that's what ShadowNet looks like when they don't lose 1 or 2 people at the start of the round. They actually make it look very competitive and even swing a bunch of these kills back, even taking some of them for free. So this is certainly looking fine for ShadowNet. It's just these openings sometimes where it looks a little awkward. It's always just one part of the round where ShadowNet seems to slip up a few rounds in a row, but I mean, that one they didn't, and that one looked great, and in fact a very strong hold. So look, I mean, I totally see a world where ShadowNet do bring this to overtime and they do make Vance really work for the 2-0 if they even get it at all, but there's totally a chance right now where Vance just you know, catch one small mistake at the start of a round, catch ShadowNet off guard, drop someone like Levi straight away. You know, any of those things happening, and that's just suddenly the whole series over.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Hey, look, I feel like it's a little harder to lose someone straight away when you're literally on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole storyline so far. ShadowNet, them needing to find at least any kind of solace, any kind of closure here. This has been probably the storyline for most of their season here. It's just can't seem to be able to find a win, but struggling and giving quite a run for their money and for their name for other teams, and yeah, probably just about as much of a title that can be there for the poor ShadowNet.
I think it would be a big boost for ShadowNet just as a team to get the map win here. They've been waiting for a map win for a while. This would be the series to pick it up on, to do it in a challenging one as well, where they're clearly at least having trouble. I think it would be really good for them. So let's see if they can close it out here. They've thrown a Vigil into the mix here for a bit of a shake-up. Does the trick go off without a hatch? Without a hatch, without a hitch? I guess we can use
Close
both
enough.
here. But yes, it does. It goes off. So slowing them down just a little bit here. Always a really good feeling for ShadowNet. Again, they haven't lost anyone for free at the start of the round. That's another great start. I think the strongest part for them. The question's going to be whether Minxie can pull off these roams, or whether she gets shut down. Oh, that's a good free kill and a great bait by Vance. Minxie, no roaming at all is even going to be on the table.
I don't think roaming per se has been even on the table here for ShadowNet. They just wanted to essentially have just another player that would be able to rotate between a few of the anchor points without being able to be spotted by the drones, as droning has been a very large thing and a large part of Vance's execution here. So here, with her being out, it means one less operator that will be hiding from the drones essentially, and one less player to do the impact tricking, which was quite crucial here to be pulled off perfectly at both the moments. But oh, instead it's a perfect execution by Lime Cordial with a headshot onto Nova.
And that should be looking to close things out. Short of a miraculous little defense here by ShadowNet, Vance, just one little push away from cleaning up the series 2-0. They've got a minute to clean it out. They've got plenty of time to make this one work. They've got all the angles opened up. It's now just about closing it out right now. Just don't slip up. ShadowNet, you're waiting here. Final push.
Yeah, the timer is starting to tick, so maybe some aggressive pushes will be coming out, and sure are. It's need to open up the scoreline and gets a double as well. Looking for maybe a third one as Lags is the last man standing. The dream is all just but there. A bit of a friendly fire to come out and will be allowing Lags to grab the final kill, and well, Bans are the ones to close it out on round number 11 to claim the 2-0.
I swear ShadowNet are just the king of teams to make you think a map is going one way and just to have it completely change. And you think suddenly there's hope, suddenly there's going to be a twist coming in. But at the end of the day, the hero does win. And, you know, the story goes as planned. Bance does get the 2-0. And unfortunately, this was the chance for ShadowNet to come back into it. But luckily for Bance and their fans, they're now safe from relegation. Short of some very weird, funky results coming up in the next week, and maybe tomorrow night, there's not a lot of chances for ShadowNet or Bitterhems, the other bottom-ranked team, to overtake them right now. That's really all they can hope for. Of course, there's also some weird shenanigans where they could get into top 4, but definitely don't pin your hopes on that one if you are a Bance fan. But before we can, you know, close off talking about the series Cthulhu, who have we got coming in for the interviews here today? We got both teams coming in?
Yeah, we got both teams coming in. First one, we will have Levi of ShadowNet to join us to talk about what particularly happened there for the team, and yeah, just get a few opinions. Levi, can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, man. First of all, a bit of an unfortunate loss there for you guys. Any kind of things that may have attributed to some unfortunate rounds losses, and kind of what are the first thoughts as to what could have been done differently?
Well, kind of just very upset with the way that I played in the recent LPL games, but in that specific game, we kind of didn't practice enough what we were trying to execute, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, we got flustered, honestly.
I mean, it happens. I got a question about the Oregon, because you guys had a bit of a rough start there on Oregon. What was the point where you kind of started saying, yeah, okay, let's actually bring this back, where you guys had what I believe was 3-round streak where you almost managed to push it, just fell like 2 rounds short. Any kind of thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, we kind of just started playing more like free flow, just not really sticking to a specific strategy, I guess.
Hmm.
And that seemed to start working for us. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I guess to jump onto something a little different, Clash actually banned out in both maps against you guys. Did that throw you guys off a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. We do rely a fair bit on Clash on both of those maps that we played. And yeah, how getting banned was a bit of a ouch.
Yeah, and then just one more from me here. As you guys move on, you've only got one more match. I believe it's against PC419.
Yep.
For you guys, points probably not really gonna change too much for your position on the ladder here. So what are you gonna bring for us next week? Is it gonna be something special?
We haven't really discussed it yet. It might be very entertaining, honestly.
Oh, I
Not
like
sure.
entertaining.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing how you guys will perform, because you still do bring quite a fair bit of wow factor to some of your plays, so it's definitely quite a pleasure to see you guys play.
Yeah.
And yeah, best of luck for your preps, and guess we'll see you next week as well.
All right. Thank you. All right. See ya.
Get easy.
You too.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely hear a little bit of disappointment. It's understandable, just kind of considering how this, obviously the result of the series, meaning you're kind of locked in relegation, but also It never feels good coming off in a 0-2 series, especially one where you felt like you were coming back. So big respect to Levi. It did look like there were some rounds that would be absolutely tilting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to talk to anyone after that round on Bandit where he just got shot straight at the start. Like,
Yeah.
totally understandable if you don't want to talk to anyone after that. But who have we got up next, Cthulhu?
So we got Artie coming right up to represent the band's team. How you doing, man?
Hello.
Hello. First of all, once again, congrats to getting yourselves those precious 3 points and securing the fact that you are out of the relegation.
Yeah.
First thoughts, any kind of thoughts as to what could have gone better, what could have gone wrong there against ShadowNet?
I think today our coordination was very on point, and that's surprising considering we took a mini hiatus from scrims for about 3 days because of personal things.
Right.
But yeah, today our communication coordination was on point. It was the defense on the first map though that we struggled to close out, and I think that was our problem against a Bazaar last week as well. We just couldn't close it out, but it was lucky that we closed it out on a 7-4.
Yeah, with the fact that you guys ended up banning Clash, was it something that that just pretty much the VODs that showed it, or was it something that you just in general you guys don't prefer to play against?
I wouldn't say it's our default ban, but seeing as we knew that the Clash was going to be a hassle to deal with on attack on both maps, really, we just decided to ban it. And it was very good for us because they banned Mirror for us, and we didn't want to play Mirror. So,
right. So it was quite a convenient kind of timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, real good performance tonight here, getting the 2-0 out here. But I mean, Artie, it did come close a few times, where ShadowNet maybe showed some signs of life. Do you guys ever get worried when that starts happening?
Yeah, we do, but we're so into the game that we just don't realize it happening sometimes. With our other games though, it's definitely noticeable because we start getting picked off sometimes, and then we would just drop rounds because of that. But I think tonight we dealt with it pretty well.
All right, and then one more for me, just kind of regarding the leaderboard right now. You guys are essentially locked in place. Uh, disregarding some weird results next week.
Yeah.
There is some chance you get to the top 4, maybe fall back into relegation, but I think that one's super unlikely. So I guess my question is, what's next coming out from Bance? I mean, what are you guys going to pull out for the final week of round robin, and what's after that?
We're just gonna grind as hard as we can. Hopefully, get some good results in. If not this season, we'll definitely strive to do it next season. If we're staying pro, that is.
Okay. Well, curious to see how will you guys perform later on, and yeah, best of luck with the prep for you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for the cast.
Always a pleasure with you guys.
Thanks.
All right, well, that was Artie as well, just kind of giving us a pretty good kind of indication where the roster kind of sits with, and yeah, he mentioned the hiatus that they took as well, which seem to have worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was gonna say the fact they still seem to perform kind of on another level, despite having that hiatus they mentioned. Now we get to see what they look like next week, where they get to sit down and have a full week of scrims. I kind of imagine, of course, with their chances not being very likely they crack into top 4, that the drive might not be as high, but I'm always welcome to being proven wrong here. So Bance, if you want to shut me up here on the stage, then come in next week, get a 2-0 against Ferox, actually they're playing. So that would be a very strong one, but if they want to get top 4, they need to get it. So that would be a real big statement to make, and it would really play spoiler to Ferox. But we have one more match, Cthulhu, later tonight. And, speaking of Ferox, they'll be playing Exto Gaming for what could be the battle for first seed.
There is. So we are going to be taking a short break just to get teams set up and prepped. We'll be back in just a few more minutes. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Tuesday night LPL Pro. It's Rainbow Six Siege. That's right, all colors of the rainbow here, all 6 of them are going to be involved tonight as we get into match number 2, Exto versus Ferox. My name's Matt Smite Ross. I've got Cthulhu with me, and I want to reiterate, I know there's not only 6 colors in the rainbow.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, how many are there?
more. There are just about 6.
It's 7, isn't it? Because you've got all 7 colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, that's right.
What
Yeah,
I remember. We're gonna look real silly if we're wrong, though.
yeah, we probably are. Twitch chat is probably going to be going, "Oh, custers, lol."
Yeah, well,
Not
I
knowing
think
this stuff.
technically there's like infinite colors. I guess it all depends on the wavelength of the photon, but that's all very boring science stuff, Cthulhu. We've got very fun, shooty stuff coming up.
We got the destruction
Exto,
science.
yeah, Exto versus Ferox. They're going to be blowing up walls. They're going to be shooting heads. It's all fun stuff. And the best part about this one is that it essentially decides who gets first seed going into playoffs. Now, it can still all change in week number 7, but if Exto want to secure the top spot, they pretty much want the 2-0 here. A draw for both teams would be acceptable for either team, but you really want the 2-0 to stave off all those teams just below you in the 3rd and 4th place and even 5th place spot who are all clawing into the top 4. So really you're looking for the 2-0 here, but especially if you're Ferox, because I think they're 2 points behind Exto, but only 1 point above Bizarre, who are only 1 point above 2 other teams, Skyfire and PC419. Sorry, Ferox are 2 points above Bizarre. So they're actually kind of safe for now, but a draw would still make them vulnerable. So
Yeah.
I think the big thing is neither team wants to go 0-2. That would be a disaster for them. At least if they want that first place seed. Both these teams should be pretty safe in the top 4, but now the goal should be that first place seed.
Yeah, both of those teams will be gunning for it. Exto will be looking at defending their first seed. Ferox looking at reclaiming the first seed and just being able to grab it pretty swiftly from Exto. But for now, let's also mention the maps that we are going to be seeing. It is going to be Cafe and the Clubhouse to be brought on over. Cafe is Exto's main pick here for tonight, and we are going to be seeing it first with Ferox on the defense, which should allow Ferox to kick things off a little bit more into their favor, but it's also going to be depending on some of the bans.
Yeah, and something I want to bring up before we jump right into the match here, Cthulhu, is that avid Twitter users may have noticed that a certain Ferox player announced his free agency very recently, was like today or yesterday, very recently. Yet Deptra appears on the Ferox roster tonight, so wonder what's going on there. Whether we're going to be seeing him in continuing weeks, if he's just jumping in for tonight's match, which is admittedly quite important. But the fact is he's sticking around for at least 1 game, so keen to see what he can pull out here in maybe his final game with Ferox.
It could be his last rodeo here with the roster that didn't really stuck around for that long, probably not as long as the team even maybe expected, but yeah, definitely curious to see what will Team Ferox bring it out here for one of their rather more important matches out of all of LPL Pro. But yeah, for Deptra as well, it is quite curious which team will end up picking him up and whether which area of competitive Siege will he stay around here, given that I don't think he's planning to retire at least anytime soon.
Yeah, I can't see Deptra retiring. So I imagine he'll want to go out on this game with a bang for sure. He's definitely been looking for that good performance for a few weeks now, especially considering how successful last season was for him. So I imagine this is the one where he really wants to make it count. If he can make it work against Exto, the #1 seed team at the moment, come in here, make a statement, that'd be great for his future at the moment here. And of course, Ferox would be happy to take the successes from it too. So let's kick it here in round #1. Oh, Deptra, oh, you know how to make me smile. Oryx here on round #1, where Deptra needs to make a statement.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fall for bait here from Team Ferox actually, because the moment they saw the Monty, they did not want to deal with it in any other shape or form other than bringing in the Oryx, but instead Shoots was just able to bait it out and just bring in rather the IQ. So, for one, that is going to allow Team Ferox maybe a bit more of the rotations to be made, but not as much of the grenade denial as they probably would have wanted, given that it was a switch off from Mine to an Oryx rather than, say, from an Echo to an Oryx. But on that also same note, we're going to be seeing Echo appear in the hands of what is now considered a Pro League level / Six Masters level team. That is Team Ferox.
Yeah, scary way to open things out. The added bonus as well for Deptron's Oryx is he gets to clear out the little, what do you call that, bench? The little counter? I don't know.
Yeah, the little bench, yeah.
But yeah, he can clear it out if he wants. It looks like he only cleared out one side to get some really good angles, but oh no, he cleared out the whole thing. Yeah, so he's gonna get plenty of line of sight down there. Very hard to approach him from any point in that angle back. So imagine they'll be avoiding it. They've got a lot of vertical play to work with here, so they'll be coming in from the top.
Yeah, pretty standard beginning for the match here, especially for the attack. Just getting some early vertical control is exactly what you need, especially if you're an Exto Gaming roster. Plenty of ways, plenty of utility to use to burn out those ADSs. Only 2 flash grenades will be needed for the Cantor Raketti angle, aka the pixel angle in the piano, and a few more into the main bar area. And that's about it. The main curiosity here is going to be the choice of IQ and how will she be able to deal with the Echo Drone. Oh, that is a big question. Oh, there's everything. There's also the Echo Drone assisting Warden to get that frag, but a quick trade out by Edpan should keep things pretty stable there, given the fact that Todd just went down as well to a shot from Sawyer.
Yeah, getting some pretty powerful guns now off the table. Deptra falling too. This one's looking pretty clean here for Exto right now. They did drop Geordie first, but Ferox now looking to perhaps maybe buy some time here as the best strategy. Want some shields to work off. Oh, that drone though should be telling Exto everything they need to know. That is a dream of a C4. You're basically hoping to land on the head of every member at this point, because now it's Shade against the world. And well, the world wins every time.
Yeah, but 99% of the time it is the world that will be able to stomp you out of your dream, and well, Shoots is quite excited about that that very case here, being able to find that shot onto Shade, and a solid beginning here for XG to be able to take the first round, but a bar retry will be coming out from Ferox, considering as they might be considering that the first round was a bit of a mess up there, and we will be seeing Deptra finally bring out the Wamai to definitely now slow things down for Exto.
Yeah, and if we remember, they did get caught up a little bit on the operator draft before, like you were mentioning, swapping over the Oryx because they saw the Monty. Probably not going to happen this time, so things might be a little bit different here. But of course, we got to remember that a lot of those kills in round number 1 were dropped by Ferox, kind of on the back of very small mistakes, very binary mistakes. You either make them or you don't, you die or you don't. And so they can be fixed pretty easily, I imagine, to make sure that Extra can't catch them on the guard like they did before and make that round look very different. If you remember, of course, Geordie got caught out very early on too. So it's not like Ferox are gonna just let Exto kind of walk on it. They were kind of stopping them. So just because that round looked real one-sided for Exto once it got rolling, I don't think it was as close as maybe the numbers would say. As far away as one-sided as the numbers would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this time the quick adaptation by Ferox should allow some more flexibility in the rotation, a bit more ground to be covered. I am curious how will Shade do his roaming, because he was roaming downstairs before and was pretty quickly shut down by, I believe it was either Edpan or Shoots. So here, Exo might be looking at doing the very similar execution, just start by taking the control of the hatches and then maybe start applying pressure from below. But what is also going to be curious to me is how will they respond to that adjustment of the operator.
Operator difference is going to be a little bit of a factor here.
Attackers have
Of course,
located a
all
bomb.
those extra magnets. It's super annoying to deal with. This first peak is probably going to be the opening part of importance here. If either side gets the free kill here, it's not a trade. Oh,
Defender has been
just like
discovered.
that. Shade finding Mitchie right out the window. That is a great start. This could be kind of what we were thinking round one could have been.
Attackers have
Those
dropped the bomb.
small mistakes didn't happen for Ferox, and now suddenly they're the ones making it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really long run out as well that Shade pulled off, but was able to really make it work pretty well.
Attackers recovered
But yeah, gotta give it to Deptra as well. Having that long angle, being able to control that those pixel peaks, worked just the right magic there to slow things down. Both Jordy and Mitchie off board, and no more hard breaching to be done here now by Exto Gaming. So now they will be forced to come through the choke points, which I don't think they will be looking forward to in any shape or form.
Some of those pre-fires. We have the intel. Oh,
Diffuser has
Shade.
been dropped.
Oh no, and the diffuser as well. Well, Edpan's gonna have to swing around the corner to go and grab that, but that may prove to be a little more dangerous than it sounds. You're in a 2v4 situation, a minute to work it out here, but I feel like Ferox have just gotten too much of an advantage early on here. Shoots, he really needed the surprise kill there, because this round is not going to happen without it. Edpan going to be dropping pretty soon here. But yeah, Ferox, I mean, pretty much proving exactly what I wanted to say at the end of round one, is that this is the difference here. They even kind of swung it on Exto's head by picking off on their mistakes, getting those kills for free. And making it look pretty much a mirror image in round one.
A mirror image is definitely going to be there. Ferox, yeah, after making those adjustments, after kind of getting themselves back into the swing of things, getting that quick recovery from the mistakes that they've done in the first round, able to show us a pretty good, pretty well-paced gameplay that Ferox is very well known for. It's also that synergy, that experience of Pro League as well, knowing when to go for those runouts, when to have those plays. Shade, especially, getting that triple kill throughout the round number 2 allowed Ferox to just have pretty much a smooth sailing from there on, because not only he was able to shut down the C4, but he was able to catch out that C4 at just the right spot where it would be almost borderline impossible to push out by any of the attackers and safely run away with it.
Already a really good start. Definitely a player that, ironically, needs a bit of a spotlight shone on him in these coming weeks here. He hasn't really had much of a moment to shine, but Shade now coming out of darkness, out of the shadow here in the weeks that definitely matter. This series, definitely one of the more important ones here. But the good news is that the rest of Ferox are all stepping up too. It doesn't feel like anyone's
10 seconds to
not
go.
really playing up to the level right now, which is great news. We do need a few
5
rounds to
seconds left
really
before
tell, but
insertion.
everyone seems to be warmed up. Everyone seems to be
Attackers
ready
are
for
moving
this
out to
very,
locate
very
a bomb and
match.
defuse it.
I'll have to see how the rest of the map goes through, because yeah, while the team were able to trade out the rounds, we saw so many times when the matches were pretty much so back and forth that it wasn't really until the overtime came through where we all were able to find the victors of the matchup. So here, Ferox may just be able to win it out, or maybe it's the Exto that will be able to keep their advantage in their own map pick, and whichever team wins it out is going to dictate the overall pace very soon, very quickly. Ooh. Making decision to throw out both of the drones as well. Interesting.
Yeah, dual wielding drones.
Dual
Then you come to the round, you got two fighters, two drones at the same time.
Then you split your eyesight to the two sides.
yeah, it's like you'd have to bring in the StarCraft pros to get the high APM on the drones to really get the most out of them. Normal players, just the casuals wouldn't be able to do it. But for what it's worth, he does only come packed with one phone. Oh, Edpan with a nice little nade onto Deptra, 4 people too, shutting him down. Bozzy, he's out of here, mate. And now, good opening for Exto.
Yeah, great beginning and a solid pincer as well to be done by Edpan and co. Would be able to claim yet another frag, but not long before Shade is actually able to open up another scoreline. Gets a double as well with the UMP out of all the weapons. And back to drawing out the man count. It's back to a 3v3. All the advantage that Exto were able to ramp up is pretty much all lost out, but at the very least, there's still the hard breach that is able to be done by Jordy, so that's already a plus. Another angle to be opened up, but oh, they were not ready for Todd. They were not ready for that SMG-11, and, well, Shader will be kept in safety in a relative manner.
Man, no one gets Shade's legs on Todd's watch. He totally kept this boy alive there. Now keeping this 2v2 alive. Todd not super healthy, but he's still got a C4 in his pocket. He can definitely make something crazy happen. The defuser as well, awkward position for Exto to get back here. You can already see Shoots trying to work on it at the moment, but really has to just be focused on all these angles. He can't be caught off guard, but may have been a little bit caught pinned down there as Shoots falls as well. Shade and Todd, dynamic duo here, can't be stopped.
Oh man, yeah, it was a bit of an awkward gunfight there between Shoots and Shade. The G8 versus the UMP, and it is a UMP that came out victorious out of all the things, but props to Ferox and props to Todd and Shade. They ended up pulling a very nice dynamic duo, like you said. Some good timings as well for the defense to be able to just claw away with yet another round. So yeah, Ferox seeming to be feeling, at least for the time being, in their own element for now.
Shade's feeling on a roll, like not just from the numbers he's pulling, but you watch the way he plays. The way he responds to enemy peaks, he just immediately reacts, jumps on their position where they would be. Tracking is just on point. The guy feels like he's on fire at the moment, and it's only going to continue right now. 6 frags, and the next closest one is 2. His team, it's only 3 rounds in, but that is a lot of work already done for one man. Is he going to continue? I'm not sure, but I mean, I don't see him stopping for any reason right now. So Exto have to watch out for this guy. They've proven they can deal with him in at least one of the rounds. But yeah, this one feels like the start of the round is always on a knife's edge for both sides. And whichever side tips is the one to take the round.
10 seconds to insertion.
What I also like from Ferox as well is that they are constantly changing things around. They are sometimes bringing in only, like, say, 1 or 2 operators that will be seeing a slight change up, or maybe sometimes it's half the roster that is being changed around. And they're always able to keep things fresh, whereas Exto more so were rather preferring to have a bit more of a stable lineup, just to kind of play it out just on a roster that is just applicable to each and every site. But maybe you just need a little bit of a change up to see things succeeding in your favor. We are bringing in a Nomad for this one, which is also going to be Nomad. But yeah, I mean, curious to see how will Nomad be able to swing things into the favor of Exto.
Yeah, not really anyone that is like super powered by Nomad. They're all kind of mobile. Sushi right now, by the way, he's got the position of Edpan and Jordy all locked down, so he knows exactly what's going on. He knows where they're approaching from his one side with half the team. This is great. He's getting all the intel he wants. He's also got a chance to maybe get a cheeky little kill early on. Now tracking even more members of them. This is all the information that Sushi's stoked to be getting right now.
Heartbeat sensor deployed.
Yeah, Sushi right now is on a could be on a roll with all of the information that he's been able to relay over to his teammates. Exactly what is being needed here as well, but so far he's going to be trying to get maybe a C4 kill. There's also another position. Oh, just close, but no cigar there for the man. Won't be able to find any.
Pretty sure he heard the Velcro rip there.
Yeah.
A little too onto it. Oh, through the fireplace. Shoots was ready. And Sushi, well, he's cooked. And now Ferox with the 4-man defense left. And no pulse. Keep telling them where everyone is.
And not at all, but at the very least he was able to deny a whole lot of time and to relay a whole bunch of information. So at the very least it was not all for nothing. Sawyer to open up onto Shade. That's another player of defense gone, but Deptra is there to be able to retaliate. Same goes for Warden. He's able to establish some control over from up above, and now Warden and Todd, the OGs of the R6 ANZ scene, could be potentially able to find some frags, but no, it's Sawyer, the fresh new talent of Exto, and, well, for the scene as well, able to shut things down. All down to Warden in the 1v4, and that is not looking pretty.
Man, I could have sworn Todd saw the gun barrel there. Like, he double-checked, he, you know, looked back, and then just kind of turned away like there was no one there, so double-guessing himself, I suppose, and kind of kicking himself afterwards for it, but of course that was in the 2v4 situation, so not really going to find too much after it, but just a little surprising to see there. But feeling it a bit, but hey, we are evened up here. This is definitely going to be a close match, kind of like we were expecting. To draw the series would be a pretty crazy result, so the way this is going, definitely stick around to see that one come out. That would be insane, but I feel like even just this map could be one for overtime, but I mean, hey, we're going to swap sides to really know, but it's still the same thing, Cthulhu. It's still just on a nice edge at the start of the round, the opening of the round. Those first few kills are just so important.
Yeah, the first frag, the opening frags are the ones that make usually the big important play and the right swing for one or the other team, momentum-wise. Surely here, this is going to be relying on how well both teams will be able to pace themselves and, you know, which one will be able to drone it out quicker enough. Last time we saw Shade, he was on a very massive roam, but ever since just about the previous round, was getting shut down pretty swiftly, him and Sushi for that matter. So here maybe this time Exo Gaming won't be able to trip up on the fact that there is a roamer down below, or maybe they'll repeat the same mistake and will be punished once again by Shade.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be able to get a similar amount of value. A little perhaps easier on Echo if you can keep the Yokais a little hidden, but yeah, Shade as well didn't get really too much value in the last round. In fact, didn't really get anything at all. So definitely a big payoff that could be something that pops off here in round 5. But we're going to wait to see if Shade can pull it off. That's going to be the big one. Watch for him in the kill feed and watch for him when we see him roaming. But here on the hatch, oh, is he ready? Ready for it to be opened up. Oh, he was. He's sitting there standing, but the drone is going to be the spoil sport, ruining it for everyone. Shade, again, he's waiting, but he would only be C4ing a drone at that point.
Yeah, that was a bit of a clear indication that shoots will have to go from the top down, sorry, from the bottom to the top rather, clear, to try to hunt Shade, which could be a huge thing, but it seems that maybe Exto might try to swing in directly into the minibar of Piano Room, which could be a huge thing and quite a whole lot of things for Deptra to deal with, and maybe Warden could be caught off guard on that momentum, but that's still yet to be decided because there's also the Echo Drone of Sushi ready to play it out and ready to assist the Jaeger player rather. So, but now it's a bit of a manhunt actually happening up on the second floor to try to find Shade or maybe a few frags before they will be able to lure out Shade from his...
Oh, he didn't see it. He didn't see it through the bars. Oh! No way. Warden gets him just completely by surprise there. He took a bit of damage, but that would have been Warden's death if he stayed looking there. Oh, that hurts. That hurts a lot. But the important thing is at least he got a bit of damage done onto him. So still doable for Exto, but that could have been wildly different for Ferox.
Oh man, the balls on that man. Warden just going in for that kind of swing. Now that is admirable play. And here might be able to go in for a swing, or maybe Deptra could be swinging in, as well as Shade could be potentially finally going in for that roam. But apart from that, really, it's just, yeah, the Echo Drone play could be coming out, and well, it's rather Jordy trying to keep an eye out for the Japanese drone. Apart from that, it's, oh, Shade might be actually meeting shoots at this position, and Shade is actually the one that is winning the gunfight as well in there, and that is at least partial control of the second floor, as well as the possibility for a C4.
Yeah, things are closing out here, Cthulhu, as Ferox really seem to have locked this one in here. Shade with a successful roam. Basically the nail in the coffin here. Just the last little bit of business to be done. Exto going to be holding line. I mean, they've got 10 seconds to get in here and find Sawyer, but Sawyer has nowhere to run. And Ferox have no one else left to kill here, as a flawless round comes under their belt.
I like how Todd was just toying around with those QE peaks initially with the SMG-11, but the moment he realized that it was a 1v4, I believe, he just went in with the shotgun and was like, yeah, okay, let me just put him out of his misery at this point.
Yeah, also like 10 seconds left, so you don't want to run the risk of him like sprinting away, finding some weird rotation hole.
Yeah.
You don't want to let those easy wins just slip out of your hands. I'm sure certain teams will be able to tell you how tilting that can be. But last round here for the half. Monty and Frost. Looks like they're going to be coming to the party.
Now this is going to be an interesting play from both sides, because yeah, while Monty is a huge operator that could be helping quite a few pushes, and I don't think Ferox are that well versed against the shielded operator, Deptra's pick of Frost could actually slow things down if even just one operator will fall into that Frost Knight, because that means that we'll be down and put in the down but not out state. That's one. Two, comparative to the usual down but not out state, he won't be able to actually fall away. So he'll be pretty much just a dead meat, just kind of flopping around in the bear trap, whereas the rest of the team will try to cover and maybe pick him up. And that pretty much is
10 seconds left.
solid kill. Solidified there.
Here's the combo.
Oh, yeah?
You put the evil eye in view of it, and you zap them when they're on the ground.
That's also true, yeah. I mean, there used to be the infamous Legion and Frost combo, where you position the Legion mine right before the Frost mat, and the moment somebody steps in, they get the downed, and then the massive initial damage that the Guman used to do, and that's an instant kill, pretty much, in a very passive way.
Just go El Clasico and drop the bandit wires on them.
Oh god.
That'll do the job. But, I mean, we're not relying on these sort of things. Just tried and true underneath a window. That's all you need right here. Because people, well, they like to forget. They like to forget to check sometimes. And that is what Definitely going to be hoping here. He is going to be guarding the window. He's got a very powerful gun here for holding the position down. Making sure they're not allowed to poke their head in. They're definitely focusing pretty hard on the site here right now. There's one entrance. Well, there's a few eyeballs right now. Oh man, a lot of entry. A little bit of parkour. Are they going to poke their head in? Because Deptra is ready for them. The shield has made its way inside though. And now here's where the problems start for Ferox. How do they deal with it? Do they get pushed back? Deptra is not afraid. A big rectangle, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And Sushi actually nearly had a perfect angle. There we go. We'll be able to even shut down shoots. But Mitchie is actually able to get the counter angle there to shut down the Maestro. But the damage has been already dealt. Both Ed Pan and Shoots completely out of the game. So now Exto will be forced to go in for a bit more of a gunfight potential. But at the very least, we're able to even out the man count. Now that is going to be a much closer game. Now that Todd has been out of the equation, it's down to Warden, Shade, and Deptra to try to hold down the fort with every possible ability that they can.
Yeah, Deptra has actually started to warm up as the game's been going on too, so he's feeling a little more reliable here in these final moments. It's 3v3. Exto, a lot of pressure on them to get the job done, but they have got a minute to make this one work, getting some final breaches done so they can get a little angle. Deptra is going to have to fall back from that position. A little unfortunate, he was enjoying it quite a lot. Oh no, Mitchie! Oh, that could just stop the Exto attack in its tracks. And Ferox, well, they're not going to wait around for it actually either. Sawyer, he just watched his team's hopes crumble in seconds.
Yeah, everything is just all falling apart. There's not a whole lot of time. He might be able to catch a few frags to kind of stat pad himself, but that's about as much as things can be done. Ferox are just waiting patiently. They don't want to get into any of those gunfights because they still know that Sawyer can be a very powerful enemy, and now it's Warden that will be tapping away at his own teammate and rather be able to also claim technically a double kill at the end of the round.
What a showboat, man. Oh, what a showboat. I love it. That's great. But another round here. picked up for them. It's really starting to kick off here for Ferox. It's really looking good. Now it's feeling like the match is a little less decided on the start of the round with how things sort of kick off. That one felt a little more like it. So we're going a little bit back to that style of things, but now that we're swapping sides, things are going to be changing up almost entirely here, of course. This is where teams either start to pull ahead, or if we continue a close match. All things considered, that round wasn't exactly very one-sided, even though Ferox pulled ahead with the points. All things considered, a lot of those rounds could have gone either way.
I mean, I wouldn't fully agree that this was not a one-sided game. I gotta say that the fact that Monty and Sledge were dead very early into the round, it set a very nice position for Ferox to play out, just because they were able to very promptly shut down that push, and at that point, Exo were forced to kind of improvise on the go rather than stick to the strat, because it was quite clear that they were trying to set the certain pace with the Monty, have him pushing up very aggressively, but I don't think they accounted for the fact that there would be Sushi playing with the Maestro in the VIP area, and this is what was pretty much a bit of a downfall. Yeah, the Frost Mats were kind of adding the salt on the injury, but that was just kind of, I suppose, for Ferox, a bit of an icing on the cake, I suppose.
Yeah, the round was kind of done at that point. Frost Mat on the bottom. So, yeah, a pretty strong round there by Ferox. Debtra, along with Sushi, of course, with some good support, really held the line there. Now they get to, I don't know, what's the opposite of it? Unhold the line, destroy the line, break into the line. Here as they move on to attack right now. I'm keen to see how Debtra plays on the attack here, because he had a great defensive half, along with Shade as well. Those two really starting to pop off, but I want to see them pull it here on attack. There's a lot they can get done here on Cafe. A lot of fun little angles. A lot of fun little surprises. Oh, like that one. Oh, Jordy.
Oh, Jordy. Actually giving just about a taste of the same medicine that Ferox gave to Exto on a few runouts that did happen with when Shade was going for a runout out of the kitchen. So that is things that Exto love to see, say.
Yeah, so... Oh, Edpad. I wasn't expecting that one either. So Shade certainly was not. 2 members down now. And you got to feel like this one may just be already a little over for Ferox. They need to pull off some pretty magical kills here and really lose nothing for it. They've got all the tools they need to, everything to open up the walls and the doors. But yeah, they can't be walking into any extra line of sight. Can't be caught off guard, and they've got to win these peaks. And they've got to find these kills through the floor. That grenade is just going to float there for the longest time. Todd, are you going to find anything? And the answer is no. Just a few bullets to the chest as he drops his health bar. And finally, the job gets cleaned up there by Edpan. Everything falling apart now for Ferox. Should be Exo to bring one more round back.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like just about the round for Exto to take. I mean, I don't think a 1v5 ace is coming anytime soon. Maybe a few exit frags, but that is not going to be happening. It's a flawless round for Exto to kick off their defense. And this is definitely looking like maybe just about the matchup that could get pretty close as we are shortening down the point differential here between the two teams.
Man, a lot of flawless rounds. These, some of the rounds that have been won have been pretty clinical, and they've been coming out from both sides as well. So it's actually a really interesting match to watch, to be honest, especially with just how much it means. It's a top of the table clash. It's deciding basically first seed, depending on the result, especially if it's a draw. Week 7 could be incredibly important. There is just a congestion of teams in the top 5, and we can only take top 4. Oh man, it's going to be exciting. And oh man, you know, speaking of exciting, we're even just throwing in a few more interesting picks. Capcan gets to join the party. You thought Frost was annoying to forget about? Well, meet Capcan.
Yeah, the beauty of Capcan here is the fact that the less you pick him, the less you expect, and well, the more so the chances that the players will run into him. There's no IQ here as well on the side of Ferox, so less of the utility to kind of scout out for those traps, so even more so of a potential that 60 points of damage per one of those EDD devices will be dealt.
10 seconds to insert.
Soft breach. Tons of soft breach for Ferox. They're going to be opening up a lot of walls. To be honest, not really doing a whole lot else.
Attackers
Maybe
must locate and
cussing
defuse
some
a bomb.
people with sushi, but you can see they've got a pretty massive game plan. Let's see if they can make it work here. These are the little bad boys that I want to be walking into. Cat can traps, the entry denial devices, but Jordy, you saw some sneaky little player doing some shots through the window here. He even, I'm pretty sure he spotted him too.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. He may have a pretty good run out, but I think Warden's actually a little too far gone now, but at least he knows where he is.
At the very least, yeah, he's able to get to relative safety. I think there's a chance for a jump out here from one of the players, either at the Heaven or at the Cocktail Balcony, but apart from that, nah, it's seeming like it's the main entry coming out from Ferox into the cigar shop, right into Piano. And there is the EDD that will be actually damaging 2 of the players for the price of 1. And that is definitely not what you want right now as a Ferox player, given that there is a shotgun just awaiting on the opposite side of that doorway. So a very solid beginning here for Hexto, all things considered.
Is there a word for that? Getting 2 people with 1 cap can trap? Happy birthday? I think that's what they call it. That's what they call it in the fighting games.
Alright.
But we can maybe use that one. Although Warden is going to be having a sad birthday, so he doesn't even get any damage back out at all. So he's just taken out for free. C4 goes down for 3 as well. Oh, okay. Exto started things off. They decided they want this round over right now and flawlessly.
Second flawless round in a row as well. That is one way to flex on your opponents, and that is a bit of a yeah, a bit of an overexcitement there by Shoots, gotta say. The man is on a roll, it seems. Then, well, we're back to a 4-piece scoreline, which could be pretty much taking us any way possible. We could be seeing a runaway by Ferox, we could be seeing a runaway by Exto, or maybe a few odd rounds to be also coming in with some of the clutches. Who knows?
Well, right now, feels like we got Exto running away a little bit here. But still, operators are changing throughout all of these rounds. Monty's coming back. The Doc has arrived. So we're looking at a little more anchoring power now. Ferox just want to win these gunfights, and you know that's understandable. For sure. They're still bringing, at least for Ferox, some very similar things. Obviously the Monty being the big difference, but everyone else, they're here to open walls. They're here to give their whole team a pathway in. It's going to be very useful against Deadpan. There's Castle, who's been playing quite a lot.
Attackers have located a bomb.
That is going to be shut down just a little bit, which is quite nice. So Exo just have to make sure they don't get pinned down on any kind of weird positions on the site. They've got some really great anchors, some really great roaming. They've got the whole toolbox for defense right now. They've got everything they need. So Ferox's plan is pretty straightforward. They should know this. They should be able to expect it and call it. And we're going to see a Doc.
A Dokbi could be a huge opener here for Exto. Yes, he sure will, and that is actually on Todd out of all the players. That is a huge one as well. That is, first of all, that is one of the sets of the frag grenades completely gone, and that is one of the rather more important assault breaches as well, gone and out. Todd will not be seeing a whole lot of success within this round, and instead, it seems going from Warden, and as he just walks inside the double door without even being fully shielded, and that is going to be the end of him for this one. It is all seeming to be just falling apart here for Ferox, as they seeming to be getting a little bit careless on some of the entries, and that is hurting them quite substantially here.
Well, I think they're trying to pin Jordy down a little bit, but like, man, this guy has already done his job, and someone give him a raise. A triple kill already, Deptra off the table. Seems to be a little bit of a chatter about the shield, but my eyes right now are all on this man. It's begun right from the start of the round. From the peak to the shield kill, he's looking for an ace.
You know, he wants to find that ace. That 5k would be quite yummy to rub it in, but no, Shoots will be the one to steal away that position. And only a 4k is remaining. Shoots will be, though, punished by Deptra's Claymore, so at the very least, it won't be a flawless round. But with Shade being on quite literally just 1 HP, it's not looking quite pretty there. Multiple angles being set up in a crossfire. Well, Shade is just not going to be having a fun time.
Jordy's just stimming himself as well. Like, he wants the kill here. He wants to steal the frag. Shade is, I mean, literally anyone could look at him and take his life at this point with how much hit points he's got left. But everyone's just going to be waiting on. No one wants to throw away their life for no reason. Why not? They all know where he is. They all know what's going on. He peeks, and Jordy gets the 4k, but no ace.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a 4k. It's been already 3 rounds in a row where Exto were able to punish Ferox in a very fashionable manner, where they were able to just shut things down right at the entry into the building. We're not even talking about entry into the site. They completely cutting off any of the options that Ferox might have had. This is just completely it. Interestingly enough, also, I've been kind of thinking of talking about it throughout the last few rounds, but Ferox in the previous 2 rounds were bringing in the Maverick rather than Hibana or Thermite, even though none of the hard breaches were banned. And my only theory was that they were only bringing him for the fact that he's also a hard breacher plus with the frag grenades. But that hasn't worked out at all because, well, Maverick never got to actually use. Yeah, they were losing out on Maverick pretty quickly, and he never actually got to use to do the breaching. So I would assume that the pickup of Hibana rather than the Maverick is a much better choice, just for the sheer fact that there's just a bit more flexibility with the breaching.
Yeah, I think there were certainly some ideas with the Maverick. We just never really got to see them. Last round especially, it wasn't even just Dexter, literally just Jordan stopping the entire team. You know, you could make a meme out of this. Who would win? One like fully trained professional operative team
10 seconds
all
left.
around the world, or one Geordie boy. It feels like it was one Geordie boy, one
5
medical
seconds left
Geordie boy.
before insertion.
Bringing that one out, but it has set his team up. I mean, that's what, 3 or 4 rounds in a row now for Exto picking them up, and then close to match point. This is very, very solid so far. I don't think we're going to see a Geordie peak this round again, but oh man, he's going to be pleased after that round.
It's going to be quite a confidence boost for the man as well, is being able to find those frags against such a high caliber team that is Ferox, and pretty much giving them a run for their money. Even more so if Exto are able to close out this map into their favor. That is another a whole new flex after the fact that it was Exto who pretty much kept being on the top of the leaderboard ever since, I believe, either week 1 or week 2, so it's already going to be quite a testament that they are ready to challenge some of the also higher echelon teams as well.
Yeah, Exto, pretty strong start to the season. But this is really where the tests truly come out in the final weeks. This is where they would need to start winning, and it looks like they might. But still a few rounds to go. This next one going to be important. No one's died straight away, but Geordie, he just had Sushi just run into him like a buffet, and he is still hungry for more. That Sushi not very filling. Todd, though, has found Mitchie, so both teams are going to be taking a piece out of each other for now, but oh man, this could be a real intense last half.
Yeah, it's certainly a very close matchup as well, and a very close trade. Both of the fallen players had a very impactful utility for their teams and not be able to use it, but so far, at the very least, health-wise, it is a favor, even so over so slightly, to Exto Gaming. So here, to be very cautious as to not to lose it, because right now they are on the streak. They are looking to find themselves that match point. They want one as well to keep themselves somewhat stable, or at the very least for one more week on the top of the leaderboard. And Edpan will be adding up even more so now. It's a 3v4, and Ferox are slowly but surely falling apart here.
Yeah, falling apart and losing what they need to get onto the site too. No more hard breach. Yes, 4 people. You've got 1 frag left. Maybe you can find something with that. needs to be found pretty quickly though. Oh, these pre-fires around the corner. Warden eventually does find Geordie, as Geordie kind of just sits there and takes it, but 3v3 now. Not a lot of health for Todd, but certainly doable for Ferox if they had more than 20 seconds to go. Because now they've got to be rushing on in, and Warden, it didn't work out for him. Todd has to keep Shade alive as the plant goes down. Shoots on Death's door right now. Looks like the plant not going to be completed for now. What are they doing here? Ferox have to go and lock it in right now. This is going to be where Exto rush in to deny it. It starts with Edpan. He gets one. Where's the next one? The pistol out to secure it, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, but he's got shoots to back him up, luckily. And oh man, he does not waste a second here in this winning moment.
There it is. One more point, the match point scored for Exto during their 4-round streak, the moment they transferred on over to the defensive half. And this now shows why it was Exto Gaming's pick, Cafe Dostoyevsky, that is.
Yeah, real strong side on defense here. It's just continued round after round here. Despite not having the greatest first half, it doesn't seem like it matters now. Because Exto just feel a little unstoppable. They're finding the kills that matter very early on. The last round did admittedly come very close. Maybe it could have swung the other way. No cap can to come out here, but Geordie back on that dock. Or maybe if he doesn't troll me here. Still messing with it at 0 seconds, but Doc will be the pick.
Protect your bombs
And I definitely predict Geordie's Doc pick. He's going to be peeking out that window the moment he's allowed to.
So Geordie was able to find a very good spawn peek during one of the rounds. That was on the defense of Kitchen. So here he will have a very nice high elevation for some of the peaks, but I think that Ferox will be prepped a little bit more for some of those aggressive peak outs that Exto have prepared, because it seems that it's not particularly part of the strats that we usually see from Exto. They play in usually a little bit more conservative, maybe a little bit more in a bit more of a strategic manner. But here it's almost like as if they just decided to prompt to play a bit more like, rather more like ranked stars maybe. As funnily as it sounds, but it seems to be working out just the right way against Ferox.
And it definitely feels like certain players are being unlocked as well, especially now on defense. Their full fragging potential is sort of there. Geordie, obviously we've been talking him up a lot, but Shoots has crept up there throughout the rounds too, picking up tons of frags here, being very successful. So these players just being unlocked by Exto, it kind of shows how they've been able to pull these rounds back here on defense. One more here, though, obviously, to secure this one here, Cafe. They are just very, very close right now. Ferox in a pretty awkward position. You never want to be the team against the one on that point. They're going to be looking for these pixel peaks here. Oh, no. Oh, no, the crawl tricks him out there. Shoots with the big brain play. Just adding another frag to the list. Even healed up by Geordie too.
Yeah, and an amazing beginning here for Shoots. Once again, the mana has been just absolutely popping off there for the team. Able to find that just the right impactful frag for the team. Sushi off board. Sushi, poor man, is just not having a fun time. A 1-9 scoreline is certainly not what you would want to see within one of the rather more important games here for the top of the leaderboard, but at the very least they're still keeping themselves on that second position, and if they are able to find maybe some win on the second map, a draw wouldn't be as bad. But Todd, oh, he's not completely even expecting Edpan's positioning there, and that's about it for the yet another OG there. But same goes for Shade. It's all just falling apart here for Ferox, and it is looking like Exto might be winning out this map #1.
Yeah, at the moment, Ferox just sort of walking into the traps. They're going to have to go in, pull off some magical fights here, but Exto are going to be waiting. Exto are going to be expecting them, and Exto are ready to move to map #2. They've all but secured it here. Warden and Jepcha just standing in their way. And maybe we have to wait 35 seconds. But I know Exto, and I know they want to go in pretty soon. You can see he's turning the corner, gets one, gets Jepcha. And now it's just Warden. He's expecting it coming in, but he knows that there's just too many angles. And Exto want to finish it in style. Flawless round to take Cafe.
3 flawless rounds there for Exto while they were on defense. Now, that is a testament and a half from what is currently the top of the leaderboard team, showing that they are there for a reason. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't the skill gap that there was between the other teams. It's just the sheer ferocity that team is able to play out. I mean, look at this. 3 players of Exto are on the double digits there for themselves, which is a huge feat in itself. Just showing what they are able to do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it did really look like maybe we're going to see Ferox just kind of steamroll ahead, especially after that first half. They were looking very strong, looking to make it at least close. Maybe go to overtime. Maybe keep it close at the very end of the rounds. But, I mean, Exto just ran away with it. And, you know, we keep talking about how they had a pretty good strength of schedule early on. You know, they had some of the easier teams, so they got bumped up in the power rankings, or, you know, the actual rankings very early on. But a lot of people power ranked them a little lower. They said, oh, just wait until they play like Ferox and Skyfire and Bazaar. But they're still here at the top. They're still above all of these teams. And now they're actually beating them directly. So I think Exto are just shutting up anyone who had any questions about them.
Yeah, this is the time when Exto is shining here for their fans, for all, well, at this point, all of the people that doubted them, really. Because yeah, it's just full on a stomp here by them, and not really letting Ferox to get any openings. But we are going to be seeing a little bit of a break as players just needed a little bit of time to get back into their senses. Maybe Ferox will need to get quickly to recuperate. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be back in just a short few minutes with some more Siege action here.
What's up, ladies, germs, and all my favorite Rainbow Six fans and viewers alike? We have got one more map for you, and it is still anyone's game right now. Exto taking the first map back on Cafe, but now we're going to Clubhouse. This series against Ferox is still yet to decide who could be sitting here at the top. Of course, Exto have locked in that spot, at least for now, at least for this week. But it does open up the possibility for some teams to creep up in week 7. But that needs Ferox to win here. Ferox needs to win to get the draw, and they need to bring Exto down 1 point. That's for any other team's hope to steal away first seed. Otherwise, Exto should be locking it in here. So, map number 2 here on Clubhouse Cthulhu, it still means a lot.
Oh yeah. There's still all of the stakes are there. Exto want to get themselves that firm 2-0 and get those 3 points to boost themselves away from that uncertainty. But Ferox are still a force to be reckoned with, albeit that during their attack on Cafe, things were looking quite shaky. So a few questionable things were seen there. And well, now Exto are back onto defense, but now on Clubhouse. I feel that they might actually be able to transfer their momentum from Cafe to Clubhouse quite swiftly as well.
We're actually getting the Thermite Thatcher ban coming out, so Maverick's probably going to be the play for a lot of these rounds here. But standard defense bans, no surprise to see Mirror and Echo out of here. You know, sorry to guys, you have lost both of your defense bans now that Echo's back in the rotation. He's going to be eating up one of those slots. But yeah, so Maverick means we're going to be seeing the breaches a little differently to when we last saw Clubhouse the last few times, where, you know, we've been relying on things like Thermites, or, you know, Maverick's been banned. But this is a little bit more back to something a bit more classic that we see quite a lot. The Oryx as well, going to be swapped over. This time it's going to be a Geordie picking this one up. What do you think the Oryx is coming out here? Like, what are teams looking for when they pick Oryx as a new operator?
Partially for some of these sites, it's just for his roaming capabilities. The fact that he also has the MP5 as well as the either the barbed wire or the motion sensor, which is a great piece of utility as well. And just in general, his whole package is fairly well balanced. Plus, he can pretty much sit at the bottom of the floor for half of the game, wait for the attack to completely ignore that, and then jump up through all of the hatches to essentially elevate himself back up to the top floor or to the ground floor pretty quickly, without needing to rotate through the stairs. So you would have that element of surprise, which exactly what Edpan is doing, opening up those hatches for that quick, swift rotation that Jordy could be playing off.
Exciting times. I'm keen to see it work. Always fun to see the new operators and how they are played around with. Oryx is definitely one of the more interesting ones to come out. Little special, I'd say. You probably wouldn't see something like that in real life. Imagine going through walls, but a little entry now starting to work on the garage here. Mitchie's going to be keeping that one down pat. He'll be able to hold that position for quite some time. This is a very messy CCTV wall here. As you can see, Exo, they kind of messed the whole thing up a little bit just to make it super annoying for any kind of Maverick breaches. Luckily, they do have a banner though to open up.
It's an interesting thing that Exo are usually mainly emphasizing all of their hard breach of, say, Hibana, but they still end up bringing in the Maverick for, I'm assuming, as a substitute to Hibana in case she gets spawn peeked or ran out on, or any other hazard occurs to her, which is not a bad idea. But I'm curious whether Deptra take all that fat chunk of damage, because yeah, that is an unfortunate loss of all of that HP, which will be forcing Deptra off his position as well.
Yeah, on Maverick as well, someone who literally just sticks their feet in their face in newly created holes. Like, it's quite dangerous. He gets quite close. Oh, Mitchie, can he survive up here? Oh, Shade has found Geordie though, pulling out the pistol to secure that one. Oh, but he walks right into a shotgun. Edpan's one, and that one is just locked down as well. It's a bit dangerous, a bit dicey right now, but hey, Exto are holding for now.
Yeah, frag grenades will be flying in. Mitchie will be going for a dolphin dive there off the rafters, as the grenade of Todd will be claiming the life of him. And all of a sudden, Exto are looking at a bit of a disadvantage there for themselves. Both Wamai and Oryx gone very quickly off the board, and, well, trading it out only for a single Ash, that is a very favorable for defense, for offense trade.
But Cthulhu, they've still got 3 gas grenades left. They've got not too many entry points to worry about for Exto. For Ferox to come in, so they can pop these gas grenades right about now and run that clock down, force Ferox to go in for an awkward push. They still have to win a 3v4 in that awkward push, but they've got the tools to do it. So now we're just waiting on the end. They still have 1 more gas grenade left. I don't think he's even popped the second one. Sawyer has been lost though. Edpan has been lost now. The last gas grenades go out, and all of my strategies on how they can win there just go out the window.
Yeah, Ferox finally managed to kind of recover themselves after what was a very embarrassing loss to what was, I believe, a 5-round streak from Exto on the defense. And yeah, now it's their kind of, I suppose, a revenge tour, especially when it's their also home turf, that is Clubhouse, the map that they ended up picking against Exto. So I would imagine that they would be going for a bit more of a aggressive, bit more comfortable gunfights, even if some of the initial trades are not favorable for Ferox.
They were toying a little bit though with death, as you can see Deptra dipped pretty close to dying early on in that round. You definitely want to be protecting the Maverick, but I guess another reason
Defenders, protect your
Hibana
bombs
is showing up
by attack.
more of a fail-safe here. So you definitely always have something to get that hard breach done. But of course, you always want to bring it here to this very site. You want that vertical breach. You want to be able to jump down into Arsenal. You want to be able to just put the defenders in just so many awkward positions. The more entry points you have down here, the better as you hit that final 40 seconds where you make the push. You want these stairs all covered, you want the tunnel covered, and importantly, you want the floor above.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, you would want the hatches covered up. Interestingly enough, Exto are actually dedicating a little bit more of the reinforcements onto all of the hatches to make sure that
Moving out to locate a bomb.
Ferox will be struggling and will need to keep it almost flawless, at least on most of the hatches if they want to save the Maverick fuel for something else. And interestingly enough, a little bit of a few more reinforcements, maybe to allow Jordy to have a bit of an indication, maybe to fall back. But apart from that, I don't think there is any room up above, at least just yet.
A little interesting on how that one's being done. This is a site that I'd say teams spend a lot of time setting up and then getting caught out at the end. Unless they're finding kills through the floor, through the hatch. That, I mean, you can obviously set them up a little bit. But it comes down to a 5v5. Teams end up with, you know, like 30 seconds left by the final push. And, you know, they may have set everything up, but they don't end up with a lot of time. So if Ferox can set this one up nice and quickly, end up with like a minute to go to get some really important training done before their last push, then I feel like they'll be putting themselves up into a strong position. The great thing is that it's very hard to stop Maverick just doing this.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it's Deptra also as well. He was able to prove that he was quite proficient on some of the Maverick breaching and should be able to open up this hatch in a matter of just a few more tries, but a little bit of a slip up. Should be able to get that opening. Oh, on the last bit of... Wait.
What?
I'm sorry. Oh, that is...
Right, guess no one's going down through there.
I guess, yeah, at the very least, a few maybe flashbangs could be thrown in. Yeah,
Attackers have located a bomb.
I'm a little bit confused there, at the very least, as to what happened. As usually, when all of that top part of the metal reinforcement is gone, pretty much that's the hatch should be open, but instead that's not what happened. And well, Ferox will be forced to go through just either the hatch or the main staircase.
Yep, they're going to be dealing with it anyway. As they should at the moment right now. They've lost a little bit of health, but they've traded a bit back. So we are looking at things all considered even. It's that 5v5, and it's right at that 40-second mark. Oh. That free kill on Jordy. Oh, it means so much by Shade. Do we find the frag kill as well? No, we don't. But this is what Ferox are going to have to work with here. They've got this last push to go. Edpan is running out of gas grenades. He's got one left in the pocket. Oh, the sneak means that that one in the pocket doesn't matter at all. But these ones are being traded back. Sushi plants. But I don't think he needs to secure it at this point.
10 seconds
Although he
left.
has actually been dropped down. So maybe they do need to clean it up. But no, they just get the last defender cleaned up. And it is Ferox picking up another round. Oh, man, I wonder what happened with that hatch, though.
Yeah, I'm very much puzzled even to this moment as to what exactly happened with the hatch, but nice recovery nonetheless by Ferox, and gotta give mad props to Shade for making that opening with the Ash. I mean, he was already a very proficient Ash main for Ferox and for the previous rosters that he was in. So him here, it's just essentially just flexing his skill when he's finally warmed up.
Yeah, it feels like when Shade's ready and he's not caught off guard, he's winning every duel. Any kind of peak fight, you know, where they're leaning back and forth, or just even going for pre-fires, he's super quick on it. I feel like, yeah, catching him off guard has got to be on the table for Exo. They can do that. I feel like their chances of winning are a whole lot better. The rounds where they just pick him or Deptra off, you know, back over on Cathay were the ones they won a lot. So it certainly feels like Ferox are rising and falling with those two players, or especially Shade in a lot of these fights. But Deptra is certainly getting his name out there.
Oh yeah, Deptra so far was able to build up a very nice, very good portfolio as well for him as a player, as he was able to go in for a fair bit of fragging. He was able to be the hard breacher for the team. He was able to show some of the more of the supportive of roles as well. So man is the jack of all trades, and he has quite the aim to back it all up as well. So curious how and which team he will be end up fitting into. Oh, Oh, Jordy. Oh, that was a very dangerous position to toy around with. If a single pre-fire came through, that would have been it for him as well.
Yeah, but it's okay, maybe not. There's certainly something to be worried about here. These pre-fires are now coming through. It should be a pretty good idea of where everyone is standing right now, though. As Exto have gathered a lot of that information, still looking for their first round win. They've got plenty of information to work with. So they've got Edpan on that Valkyrie, getting a few outdoor cams as well. So they've got tons of info to work with at the start of the round here. What can they do with it?
Not a whole lot, it seems, as right now it's just, yeah, Deptra trying to get rid of the reinforced wall, and so he will. The gym attempt to push will be at the very least seeing another avenue to be opened up, as I'm sure there are all of these grenades getting zapped and pushed away, but there we go, finally ballistic shield will be getting rid of, and well, now Shoots will be seeing a bit of an issue there, trying to well, have a safe move back and default back to the site.
Entry now by Warden. Has to be careful. I know we've been talking about Shade and this dueling potential here. So Warden wanting to step it up too. Especially as he's got trouble just kind of around the corner. But what a time to try. Kids these days always on their phones, and well, that's apparently a bad example of it.
Yeah, that very unfortunate timing there for Warden to try to get on the drone, and even the damage that he took initially was not the right indication of where the damage was coming from. Jordy also to find a shot onto Deptra will be ensuring that the man count difference will be well and truly in favor of Ferox, but that grenade should be able to shut things down. Instead, it's Shade that is actually finding the shot onto Edpan, and Soyo will be forced off his position in the bathroom. That's still one-man disadvantage here for Ferox, but oh, Shade looking to even it out even more. Just can't seem to find and connect any damage whatsoever. Another breach will be coming through, only 30 seconds remaining, and the push by Ferox needs to come out very swiftly and very promptly, but that ADS is just slowing things down even more so.
And now we've only got 20 seconds left for Ferox. They already fighting on the back foot here a little bit. It's now 3v3 of course, but Shade not very healthy. He's making a lot of noise as he's going in. The plant has to happen, and now they've got to win these peaks. And already before the fight even begins, Shade is out of there. But Todd is bringing him back. The plant now completed. They get the fair 2v2. This is going to be a difficult one to retake. It's sitting right there on the hatch. It'll be very, very hard right now. And already, you've only got one person left. It's just Amici, who has this problem to deal with. Oh no, he doesn't get it straight away. Todd eventually will find it. Amici knew what was going on, but apparently just couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, just unfortunately wasn't able to react quickly enough for himself, and his teammates ended up just falling all apart like a domino's house. And yeah, that's the third round in a row now for Ferox, as they are now, they're angry. They want that revenge for what happened on Cafe. They did not expect to get rolled that hard with 5 rounds in a row by Exto on their own defense. So now this is where they kind of envisioning and realizing their revenge.
Yeah, this is the kind of statement they come in and make after what just happened. I mean, it was sort of close at the start on Cafe, but this is just the opposite here. It's not looking close at all, as we see Ferox coming in and grabbing 3 rounds in a row. Of course, that last one did come down a little bit to the wire, but they had a nice strong start. Of course, they even came back as the numbers did start to drop into like maybe worrying territory. Shade as well, dropping pretty low, always a pretty scary thought to think about, but I mean, Exto are getting closer, I suppose, but it's still feeling like Ferox are out of their reach. At least on attack.
At least on attack, yeah. I'm curious how will things change around the moment we're going to be seeing a half switch, but now, I mean, round 4, at the very least, Ferox have a really nice point advantage and some room for some mistakes. But last time we saw CCTV to be attacked, Ferox were quite relentless there on their push, so I wouldn't be counting them out on this one just yet as well.
Yeah, I think this is the one where they got 2 pretty quick frags. One of them was pretty quickly followed up as well. Oh, okay. Hang on. This is the opposite this time. What are you up to, Todd? Being taken out very, very early on. He could not find Jordy. Oh, they're all... Well, maybe not all of them, but one more was there, and it was Shade. And even with the surprise, he took a bit of damage, but got the vengeance.
Yeah, Shade is also always there to kind of to source it out, to bring the situation back into the favor, and able to actually swing the man count once again. He's just absolutely nuts here on the Ash plays. And now the rest of the team, I'm not too sure where Warden is. I'm not too sure why is Sushi not there to support Deptra, because right now he's about to be in a whole bunch of trouble if he's gonna try to get the breach going solo.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Keeping an eye on here, and Garage gets the moment maybe they were looking for. No kills do come off of it. We're still working pretty hard on the breach here. It's such a tricky one to get done as the Maverick. I mean, just look at the damage Deptra takes as he's hanging around. There's no safe position for him right now. So he's changing his angles up every single time. He's still got plenty of fuel in the tank, so we'll be able to get this door open. There it goes. Shade with some very dangerous peaks right now. But you look at the health bars, everyone is going to be looking at dangerous peaks if you're Ferox. They've left themselves a lot of time to make this one work here. Can they flush Mitchie out here? Not a whole lot of health. Do they have any frags? Yes, they do. Ask and they shall receive. Mitchie falls to Deptra's grenade. Only 2 defenders in the way right now, and it looks like it's going to be another clean sweep here on CCTV. A very strong sight when Ferox attack.
Sure is. Shoots is also going to get pressured very quickly. Shade just swings. The man just swings around each and every corner, finds those frags, and just doesn't forgive. So poor Sawyer is just getting bullied there, and Shade is going to finish him off with a pistol. That is wow. Just all that I can say. It's just wow. It's just, it seems and it feels like it's a whole different Ferox roster comparative to what we saw in Cafe.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from, but I like it. They had a really strong take of that site. Once things started getting rolling, they really secured it. They basically locked a few people down at different parts, and they sort of rotated 1 or 2 members between them to come in and kind of lock up the kills. It's all very hive mind-like. You can tell that Ferox are now very on fire for their communication, at least, and it's paying off. It's paying off massively. 4-0 so far on attack. A lot of teams feel very comfortable when they go to defense as well, so this is fantastic for them on attack here already. So they should be looking confidently towards the next half already. They just want to clean up this half, get a few more rounds. 6-0 would be beautiful, of course, but they can already be happy with what's going on here. But let's head down to the basement, back to Church and Arsenal.
Yeah, Church and Arsenal was a little bit of a questionable performance last time. It was a little bit shaky there, but Ferox were able to bring in their success for that matter. So maybe here we will be seeing a similar success, or maybe we'll be finally seeing Exto kind of make a comeback and make the play there that they need, really. Because while, yeah, they probably are fairly content with the draw, I don't think they would want to stop there in any shape or form. They would want to continue that streak going for themselves in any shape or form.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I was saying before, for Exto, the 2-0 would be securing that first seed. But for Ferox, it means staying away from those ravenous top 5 teams that are really fighting for the only 4 spots in the playoffs. But right now, Ferox are just easily securing that dream right now. And I like the statement game, too. They come in here and do it maybe 7-0, 7-1 even. Like, that would be a great way to come in and say, all right, we didn't steal first seed from you, but you guys are definitely not out of our league at all. In fact, we're the ones that you should be looking to beat here come the finals. But a few more rounds here. Maybe Exo do bring it back. Remember, Ferox had a pretty strong lead, you know, at the end of the first half last map. We know how that turned out. So let's give Exto a little bit of a chance here.
Yeah. EXO will be getting another 2 more rounds on their defense to try to maybe even get some points or some closure there for themselves. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a pretty swift L there on the first half. But yeah, I mean, there's so many avenues there for them to try to C4. I mean, Sawyer and Shoots could have gotten a pretty quick C4 kill there, but instead it's just Todd gonna try to slow things down and to deny maybe a few impact tricks, but those are not going to be successful, and well, finally the hatch will be breached by Sushi.
Yeah, they're not going to fall for any of these baits. EXO have already fallen for them. Oh, Shoots! What a Kobe with that one. Finding Shade as well, what a valuable frag here. EXO, that's a way to come back in here and maybe bring your first win here over on Clubhouse, but it's not done just yet.
Not at all. There's still plenty of job to be done, albeit, yeah, Shade, the main entry of Ferox, has been completely outed from this one. There's still plenty of ways to go. That grenade will be claiming Shoots. Fantastic Kobe, this time by Deptra, learning from the master that is Todd, and bringing in the heat once again. Now we're back to a 4 versus 4 with a matter of 35 seconds remaining.
Oh, no way you come back into this one. I mean, it's tight right now for Ferox. They've only got 30 seconds to make it work. Edpan with a full pocket of gas grenades still ready to go. And we're still waiting for Ferox to even really get onto the side at the moment. They've got to make the rush and they've got to make the plant during the fight too. This is where it gets a little awkward. Plant now going down, but the tunnel rush doesn't work as Sawyer shuts it down. And Sushi, while he's going for the plant, well, he gets shot in the back. 5 seconds, and I don't think Ferox can do it. And Deptra's still sitting up above. No way he gets to the plant. He'll maybe get 1 frag or 2, but it's going to be EXO picking up their first round.
Yeah, so finally EXO are able to really break the break the pace, break the streak that Ferox so far had, and at the very least claim a single point for themselves, but they still need to get 1 more point if they want to make it a little bit more competitive for themselves, whereas Ferox will be looking at their 5th point here just to try to just close it out as favorable as it possible for them here. And Gym Bedroom attack, I mean, so far they were able to win it out, so who knows, maybe we'll be seeing yet another round to go into the hands of Ferox, or maybe EXO will be able to claim their 2nd round here as well.
Yeah, and Gym Bedroom has been one of those sites that's been a little shaky. Of course, obviously every other site they've lost, so none of them are really not great, but it was one of the ones that Ferox took command of pretty easily, kind of like CCTV. So, like you said, they're in a really good position to just take this one, survive 1 half, but of course, we do still have to wait to see what EXO can pull out. They won that last one with a very well-placed C4 to keep themselves alive throughout it. Made it very difficult to come back into that one with the numbers. I mean, it looked like maybe it was starting to come back after we saw Deptra get some pretty nutty nades through the floor. But I just want to say, actually,
10 seconds.
you call them Kobe when they're accurate, but when it's kind of like an underarm bowl through the floor,
5 seconds.
I feel like you don't call that a Kobe. What would you call it, though?
No, not really. I mean, I usually just, whenever it's just in general a good grenade throw, it's always a Kobe.
Well, no, there's rules for it, right? Kobe is for when you get it really accurate, and then Yeet is for when you just chuck it real fast. Now, hang on though, because we're getting it just Yeet and Kobe this one right out the window. Yeah, that's how we use those terms now. But Shoots, oh man, him gone? That is rough.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bit rough there for EXO, given that they probably would have wanted that early frag onto Todd out of all the people, and well, that's not going to be happening anytime soon. And early advantage here will be potentially signaling maybe the swing in the momentum for Ferox to take control of. Nobody even trying to contest that angle, so Deptra gets a free real estate moment here, but Jordy might be onto something here, opening up a punch hole, could potentially catch one of the attackers on the rotation, but also close, man. Oh, it's so filthy. He could almost smell them, how close it was.
Jordy loves those punch holes. He's been doing them all night, and most of the time they actually really pay off. So I see why he does them. That's just an example, though, of one that comes close. Really. It doesn't do anything. Oh, your blowtorch blew up. Deptra, you're going to need to get a new one. Oh, Todd! Oh, you blew up the guy that threw the C4 that blew up the blowtorch. Oh, it's just chaos and just all connected, but oh, it's all happening at once. And Sushi manages to get the next kill. Ferox cleaning this one up. It all came off the top of a blowtorch blowing up. But hey, the rest of the team doesn't need a blowtorch. And it looks like Sawyer, well, he needs a team at this point.
Yeah, Sawyer needs a miracle here to try to get some of the God pre-fire, but Todd wanted to get that bonk as well with the sledgefire, but sorry, sledgehammer, but got denied by Warden, and that was that would have been an even more comical way to get the final frag and to close out the first half, but nonetheless,
Scumbag Warden.
Yeah, Scumbag Warden, god dang it. But oh well, 5-1.
But how good would it have been to see him go for the swing and then Sushi knifes him like he claims in chat? That would have been great to see. Ah, but a 5-1 half from attack.
That's rough.
On Clubhouse here. Super strong for Ferox. Oh my gosh. Gonna start off the defense here. Church and Arsenal. These are the ones where maybe it's the only round that they dropped on attack. But things are very different when you get to sit back onto defense here, Cthulhu.
Yeah. Things might change around. I mean, we saw a gigantic switch in the momentum once Ferox went onto the second half on Cafe and got completely denied. So maybe here it could be a similar thing. Maybe Exto could take a few rounds, or maybe Ferox will just completely finish it out. 7-1 or 7-2 scoreline. Something across those lines could very much happen.
Yeah, I mean, last time they swapped halves, it was what you said, 5 rounds in a row, I think. So, I mean, just looking at it, it's kind of what they need to bring it to the match point. I mean, hey, maybe they could do it, but of course, different map, different story. Might not happen again, but hey, if the script says it, then maybe we can't count them out just yet. But what we can say is they're also incredibly strong so far on the attack. If the defense looks anything like they did on attack, then I feel like Ferox can win this in 2 to 3 rounds.
ATS deployed and ready to go.
Yeah. The way how Ferox were playing, the way how they were able to dictate the momentum overall so far in Clubhouse, pretty much says that, and shows the reason why this is their map that they've picked. This is where they are the kings, controlling pretty much each and every part of it. So here is how well they perform on the defense, but I mean, even on Cafe, they were pretty scary to play against.
Okay, very spread out right now as we see Exto taking their time, like teams like to do, hitting Church and Arsenal, opening up all the doors, making sure they have all points of entry ready to go. Oh, that's a dangerous little swing there, Jordy, but he does not get punished for it. Almost found his own peak with it too. Oh, the flashbang's now coming out, just looking to drain the last few ADS right now. You can see Exto got their positions, choosing not to go for the tunnel just yet, but look at the time, Cthulhu. They are setting this up quickly. Oh, Sushi, have you found something?
Now there's a few openings being made there by the Maverick, a few peak holes as well being opened up. These things are just looking quite scary here. Push Sushi is just looking a little bit cornered here almost, and well, if he will be allowed, he could blast things off pretty swiftly here. There's some support from Shade is there with the smoke grenade, but it seems that the grenade of Sawyer won't be connecting just yet to anything. He still has one more to play out, but here it's the time to shine for both Shade and Sushi. Sushi wasn't having a good day on Cafe, so maybe here is where he's gonna make things play out in his favor.
And just look at the value having the time set up is giving Exeter right now. They are all getting in position. They've communicated where pretty much all the last movements are. But right now, Ferox, like you said, they're kind of pinned down. However, they are still shooting back because now Shoot's off the table, Geordie off the table. Is this one just getting stopped in its tracks, Cthulhu? I think it might be, but maybe not. I am just getting called wrong right now. as it just swings back and forth. 2 kills apiece for each side. It's Ferox on top right now, and Sawyer, well, he's up against a dream right now. Maybe he can pull something off,
15
but
seconds
that
left.
would be a miracle. Ferox are looking primed to move on to match point.
And they sure will be. Warden just been doing some phenomenal work for the team, as well as Sushi and the rest of the company here. Fantastic teamwork, being able to close down the angles, not even allow a single point of advancement there for Ferox, even after they were able to get a few openings, some few breaches going. It was just a full-on lockdown. Even with a few frags that went into the favor of Exto, it was just still the pace, the momentum was still all going for Team Ferox here. So with 6-1 scoreline, Exto are definitely looking like they might be losing out on their 3 points and maybe just sticking with just a single draw point, which will still, like you mentioned before, will be keeping them at a first position in the leaderboard, but at a very volatile first position.
Yeah, it does keep them out of reach from any other teams this week, but it's when next week comes in, because they still have a pretty hard matchup
Attackers
next
need
week.
to
I believe
locate
they're
and defuse
playing,
bombs.
it must be, who have we got next to playing? Skyfire. Yeah, so they're playing Skyfire next, which is not going to be an easy team. That's not a guaranteed 2-0. It's not even a guaranteed draw, so that could put them in danger, for sure. But we'll also have to see how the other matches go later tonight and tomorrow. So, well, not later tonight, no other matches tonight. That'd be a worry. It's we're finishing early, it looks like, but you know, it's still after midnight for us. Imagine if we had another
10
series.
seconds to insertion.
Yeah, that'll be interesting way to spend
Yeah,
the night.
you wouldn't have to Uber home because it'd be almost the morning. You just catch the bus home.
Okay, just catch the bus and just enjoy a little bit of maybe a quick snooze and then back to casting.
Yeah, why snooze? The day's just begin. Days
Also
just
true,
beginning
yeah.
after that. But luckily for us and our sanity, we do have just this match here tonight, and it could be wrapping up on this round. Because Ferox are on match point. They have not been showing signs of slowing down. One single round by Exo I don't think is really enough to slow that one down. CCTV is going to be the point in question, and this one is just being quite allowed to she'll get it eventually.
And yeah, and Pan is just he was looking forward to that frag, but Jordy was able to run away. Even with a whole lot of damage, at the very least, there's still the damage has been dealt. Oh, same goes for Sawyer as well. It's just yeah, right now just things are not looking too favorable here for Exto's push.
These doors are dangerous. These
doors are
windows, man, they're shooting me. That's what it must feel like for Exto. Every single entry, every single way inside right now is being contested. Is there going to be a trade here so far? The Maverick for the Wamai. You never really want to lose Wamai, but they cannot really lose Geordie now. Sushi dropping is going to make this a difficult one for Ferox to hold. Half the round now for Exto to make the plays happen. They've got a little bit of breaching left, but plenty of soft breach. Oh no, Warden could be in trouble. The ADS are going to be giving its last breath at the moment, because that frag one will slip through. Take him out. Exo surviving this round, it looks like, to live to fight another round. As long as they don't make these peaks a little too awkwardly, they've got all the tools they need to clean this one up. The last gas grenade is now going out. Deptra and Todd basically playing a retake at this point. Todd, good smoke, but Mitchie will find him right through it. And just Deptra remains. But Exto, they live to fight another day here.
Yeah, Exto potentially starting yet another comeback like they did in map number 1.
God, how tilting.
Imagine how much of a tilt it would be for Ferox to go for 5-1 scoreline, being able to make it a 6-1, and then get reverse rolled by Exto Gaming. Now that would be a tilter and a half, but for now though, all the memes, all the tilt points aside, it is going to be a gym bedroom defense, contrary, well, actually not contrary, but instead of a retry for CCTV.
Yeah, well, CCTV was a bit of an awkward one there. as we could see from that example. So I'm okay with Gym Bedroom. It's got a few familiar feels anyway, so if they were feeling how CCTV went, but maybe needed it a bit different, this one does the job. They just need to close out one more round. I mean, they've had spectacular first half. The attack went perfectly. Just one more round here on defense, and they've even shown that they can get it done. I feel like they sort of let EXO walk into a lot of those breaches and kind of make their own path as much as they wanted to, but yeah, I think if they play it out differently a little bit here, don't give EXO as much freedom. You saw how much time EXO had and what they could do with it. So just letting them get inside early on is just a pretty crucial mistake. And I feel like Ferox, if they want to win these rounds, they got to do it in the first few seconds here. Well, the first minute or so, buying that time. Are you going to see anything from Shade, or is this just going to be Valcam? I think it's just going to be Valcam.
Attackers must
It's going to be, just one of those kind of running forwards. Valcam just throw it a little bit further away. And yeah, looking at the Ferox lineup, it's just seeming just about as stable as it gets. Just slight change, I believe. Shade has just swapped over from, I think it was from Kaed over to the Valkyrie, so we'll have still a very good loadout overall. And the main question here is going to be how quickly can Ferox deny a whole bunch of entries.
Yeah, they did it kind of well at the start of last round, but it fell apart pretty quickly as a few shots through the walls, kind of like that, started happening. And those are the ones that really shut Ferox down. Those kills through the wall. But here we go, we get to start working on the breach at the moment. This is where we've got to be careful for Depture. Oh, Shade! He finds Shoots. Shoots such a high value player too. Or was back over on Cafe at least, maybe not so much here playing on Clubhouse, but nonetheless, that's just a kill for free.
It sure is. Shade is still roaming around, same as Deptra. Deptra might be looking at a run out C4, which could do a whole lot of damage, but Adpan instead will be taking out Shade, so that is the Valkyrie off board, but the C4 has been already extinguished, so not a whole lot of passive utility completely lost. There's still Deptra ready. He wants to get that frag, and there's a prone sledge if he gets that run out right now. There's the C4 could be flying in. He doesn't get it. He won't actually, as Edpan actually shoots it out from the air. That is absolutely phenomenal there for Exto. But Deptra still, he doesn't let go. He will be able to get rid of Jordy at the very least. So that is a frag to get things going, but just as I say that, it's also Soya that will be able to just send in a grenade to kind of go for a no-you play.
Oh, I'm still reeling over that C4 shot. It's a shame he died so quickly afterwards, but it's still going on here, Cthulhu. And Ferox, if anything, are a little bit in the lead. They still have Todd here and Warden at the end, and it's just Soya here, sorry, just Edpan now here to keep this one alive for Exto. He needs to clutch, but he can't do it in the face of Todd, who shuts him down, and they win the map, draw up the series here for Ferox. And they stay in second place in the leaderboard, but they do it with one extra point.
Yeah, at the very least, a point will be gained by both of the teams. Not particularly the best case scenario for either one of them, but nonetheless, it's still a draw is a draw. It's still a bit of an advantage for both of them. Good showcase by Ferox, as a 7-2 is much better than a 7-4, 7-5 that we ended up seeing on the Cafe, and well, that is one way to close out the matchup for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, after Cafe, I didn't really expect Clubhouse to be so one-sided. It was a super good performance coming out from them there to bring that one in. Ferox really kind of showing why a lot of people rank them as one of the favorites to win the whole thing here, despite Exeter kind of taking up the leaderboard position for quite a long time, very early on. But huge congrats to them to surviving a little bit longer. It's going to give them a nice position to maybe take over that first place spot next week if they can snag a 2-0. They'll have to wait for that though. But of course, they're probably going to be pretty interested in the matches tomorrow night, Cthulhu, because that will help decide their leaderboard. But we do have some interviews as well to get some feelings on that series we just had. So who have you got for us first?
So I got Sushi coming in for us. I believe he's just about to join us. There you are. Sushi, First of all, mate,
Hello.
I suppose congrats for a draw, but run us through what happened on Cafe second half, mate.
Look, we just clearly weren't practiced enough as a team.
Right.
Haven't been scrimming as much. So Cafe was this just a bit of a on the fly kind of move, just kind of taking the punches as they come kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Bit rolling with the punches. Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming then that Clubhouse was definitely a much more prepared one, where you did the VODs, did all that prep, and then kind of just executed the Order 66.
Well, yeah, Clubhouse is just like a map we're notoriously like comfortable on. I'd say like it's like a map we could not go for like playing for like a good month, and then we could still come back to it and just understand it. It's one of those maps you like. It's very logical. You do this, you do that, then you do that. Like it's step by step.
So I want to draw attention to the series, Shade's performance. He kind of
Yes.
stepped up in it. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how he was feeling?
Don't know. He's clearly just feeling it, eh? He's just feeling the like run and gun kind of mentality. So he just kind of went
Well,
with it.
I bring it up because he's not a player that normally gets spotlight. So
I think tonight he was more on Fragger roles, as far as I remember. I think he's gone a bit of Ash, bit of this, bit of that. So I mean, we just supported him, supported our Ash player. He got in, he did the job well. So can't complain.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the White Swings were just something else there to witness.
it just felt like every time we swapped to him on spectator, he was
He
just
just-
getting the most beautiful swings, the best peaks.
Right, swinging, yes.
Yes.
The Ash mentality.
A little bit, but hey, it worked.
Hey,
It
if
worked.
you got the win, it's fine.
Exactly. And speaking of the win, I mean, you guys crushed it on Clubhouse there. I mean, just do you want to give us any final thoughts on Clubhouse? How you guys did it so one-sidedly?
Look, I don't know how we did it so one-sidedly, but I think we probably just understand Clubhouse better than
Okay.
Exto, more than likely. Not taking anything away from them, but we probably just understand the map a little more.
Yeah, plus
and like have structure to like how we push, so they can't like kind of use their playstyle against us, which they definitely did on Cafe.
Plus, I mean, you guys have a pretty star roster of the players that already been part of PL as well, and you guys have a bit more kind of general knowledge as to how some of the higher echelon teams as well play it. So
yeah,
imagine that comes
definitely.
Well, nonetheless,
Yeah, we're kind of grilling you here as well, but one last thing for me is, what's the story with Deptra? Because he announced being a free agent. Is he sticking around for the rest of the season, or?
Deptra will be playing this LPL season, so any big Deptra fans out there watching LPL, don't worry, he'll still be playing the LPL game, so that's all good. But we just decided that we just wanted to part ways like mutually, basically. Won't go into detail about that, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, no. We just wanted to check out what's going on with the rest of the season here.
He the star himself will be still playing out this LPL season, so.
Well,
Good to hear.
that is good news to hear, but we're also glad to have a star like you, Sushi.
Oh, thanks, guys. Sorry about not getting frags tonight. I just wasn't mentally here, but
Hey,
it's fine.
You got a good one, and Monty's back. I like that one.
Yeah, that was my one kill on Cafe. I was pretty proud.
Yeah, that's why I could remember it.
Fair enough.
All right, well, we'll let you go for now, though, Sushi. Thank you for joining us on the interview. Always a pleasure to have you, and best of luck preparing for your upcoming matches as well.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure to join this.
Always out. Oh, that was Sushi.
Yeah, I mean, Sushi, always a fun one to have on. I just love having him on the interviews. He's always fun to have a laugh around with. Win or lose as well. Although for him lately, it's been more winning than losing, which is quite good. So I guess it's no surprise that he's always quite happy when he's on here. But I mean, hey, look, a pretty good result from them. Obviously, they would have liked to get the 2-0, but I think the statement on Clubhouse, I mean, just the way he was talking kind of speaks for itself. They seem pretty stoked with that one. I'm interested to see what Exto Gaming are thinking about after that series. So I see we've got Sawyer joining the call.
Yeah. So yeah, mate, how you feeling, man?
Hello. I am feeling all right. Bit disappointed. Well, no, very disappointed. Very disappointed.
Okay.
Let's get
Even
into
so.
it. What happened on Clubhouse?
Just yeah, we just played extremely poor. I mean, even Cafe we played poor. And then yeah, we got on Clubhouse and no, we just didn't play well. It's the end of the story, really. Not enough scrim prep. Yeah, actually, almost none scrim prep. So yeah, we just played extremely poor.
Run us through actually that comeback that you guys pulled off in the second half of Cafe, because that was quite something phenomenal there.
Well, we were pretty annoyed with our attacks because we should have won at least 4 attacks. We normally do on that map. So
Right.
I guess we just took that frustration out on defense. I don't know. They seemed a little lost on their attacks. So I think when we sensed that, we kind of just started running at them, and then the rounds just spiraled from there. So
Right.
yeah.
You just kind of just went off the momentum, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I just want to bring up. I know the Clubhouse must be a bit of a pain point at the moment, but I mean, how do you guys come back from something like this? Like, let's say it's something like the semis or the finals. If you guys are in this position again, how do you think you'd rally yourselves?
I think the mentality's there. I just think yeah, we're making too many like basic mistakes, and they're also quite good at club. They're very patient. So I think for the semi-finals, like look, we can come back. I think we just have to turn up on match day, which I guess we didn't do, especially for Clubhouse. So that's the main thing. But yeah.
Yeah, and now speaking of turning up on match day, you guys have one more match left before we hit playoffs, and that's against Skyfire. I think you guys are pretty safe in your first place, even after drawing tonight. But I mean, you guys worried about this last match kind of affecting the standings, maybe making you slip out of the first place?
To be honest with you, any team that makes the finals is just as good as each other. So I don't think the placement means too much to us. We would have liked to secure it first. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, we'll just see. We've got to see with the result from Bazaar versus PC tomorrow. I think if PC win that, we can still come 5th. So we'll see the result there and then work out how we're going to go next week and what we need to achieve. But it is what it is.
Do you have any expectations on who might slip out of the top 4? Because we've got 5 teams in here right now.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I don't know. I think it'll come down to the Bizarre PC matchup tomorrow. I guess the better team will probably win that. And I think I think if PC lose that, they're not. I don't think they can get in. I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I have to see after tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of maths involved in how that one's going to work out. But I mean, yeah. So you guys did draw the series tonight. You should be looking for the 2-0 next week, but really, it must all be about the playoffs for you guys now.
Yeah, 100%. Tension turns to the playoffs. We're still not secured, like I said, but we should be all right. So hopefully once we're secured, yeah, attention will be towards the playoffs now because I think any team can win it, and I think it's a completely different ball game.
All right. Well, fingers crossed that you guys will be able to get your prep sorted out the right way and turn up on the game day. And best of luck for the prep, boys.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hopefully we turn up next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Looking forward to it. All right. Well, that was a pretty good, pretty interesting interview with Sawyer.
Yeah, it's one of the weird ones where, like how I talk about Sushi and he obviously sounds very happy. In that one, so he didn't sound like upset or anything, but he definitely sounded disappointed, while still sounding kind of like happy and pleased and not letting it get to him, which I really like. I think that's a really good quality to have in a team leader position. You don't let the team get down, but you're also kind of realistic about your chances, and it shows the passion. It shows the passion from a team like that. So honestly, hearing from both Exto and Ferox, seeing them both play tonight, it just reminds me why I am so keen to get into these semifinals, get into these playoffs, because once the elimination matches start, the tension, the pressure. The games are going to be so good.
Yeah, the pressure from here on is just ramping up, and all the stakes are ramping up even further. But from us, Smite, that is just about it. Seen so far, it's been a banger of so far of yes, technically 5.5 weeks. 6th week is gonna be closed off tomorrow, and oh man, I'm looking forward more and more now to how playoffs will be starting to shape up as well after the end of the main part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like Sawyer said, Bazaar versus PC419 tomorrow night is going to be a really important one. But then I think week 7 is going to be the matches to watch, because we're not really going to know exactly how it's all going to look until week 7 comes out. So those ones are going to be exciting to watch. Tomorrow night's going to be exciting to watch for kind of what I just said with Bazaar and PC419. So right up until playoffs, almost every match is still really important, still really fun to watch. So honestly, we're kind of blessed here, Cthulhu, with what we've got here at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's been an absolute pleasure to cast all of those games, to witness some of the rising stars, you could say, with some of those rosters. And yeah, it's an even more so competitive season comparative to even season 1 that we had for LPL Pro. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. But yeah, from us, that is just about it. Thank you all for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you tomorrow on this channel. Take it easy.